Are any of them really any good and any better than the rest? I'm not sure. You might as well just pick the one who's best batsman. That comes back in. It's Willey's bowling well though, and I think he's a good batsman. And that's played back. Livingstone picks it up. No run. End of the over. 3 for no wickets.
And we have Mog with us. Just says, what a shit day it's been. Also, hello. James Belfast says, RIP the Super League. What a brilliant innovation it was. Back to meaningless bilaterals after this, with the big boys refusing series like these.
Yes.
Armchair Creek podcast says, wow, it's David Payne sharing the new ball with David Willey ahead of Carse. That's a surprise. And Mog says, actually, your background crowd is kind of loud. So another technical issue to mention to Bear when he comes back.
Payne is going to continue. Bowling to the left-handed Vikramjit. That's flashed past the left hand of second slip, who had a bit of a cursory effort at it, I thought. Maybe it wasn't really in reach. Thank you very much. But that is going to be the first boundary of the innings. Thank you. Yes, a shame we've only going to have this one iteration of this league. This may not be perfect. You've got 13 teams and they only play 8 games, or against 8 other nations. But it's better than nothing, and you've got to have some meaningful qualification for these World Cups. You can't have a 10-team World Cup with 8 teams just getting an invite. I don't think. That one's played up to mid-on for no run.
Yeah, it's just a monthly competition then, or bi-yearly competition, or whatever, how many years apart it is.
Well, we'll see what they do for next year World Cup. Maybe they'll respond to all the pressure that's coming down and make it more than 10 teams. Maybe they won't. But this like the Test Championship, it has been badly affected by COVID, which hasn't helped. That one is clipped down the leg side. Maybe a bit of bat, maybe a bit of hip. Rashid with the fielding, we will see. They picked up one either way. One leg by.
So Bear, we've just had Mog says the crowd noise is a bit loud and the GPL needs to be open.
Oh, fucking hell.
I know, you could have given him 2 minutes to sit down, Jez, to be honest.
No, driving hard.
Yeah, in fact, there's lots of things I haven't done. This morning, so I will explain at the end of this over what has gone on.
Payne comes in, drops down into the offside by ODowd, and there's no run.
So, Zip last week offered to match people's things so we could get a new donations, so we could get a new computer, which we did, and I managed to get a really nice MacBook Pro i7 for 240 quid off eBay.
That was your first mistake?
Well, no, not really, because everything here runs off Mac.
I suppose.
So, and I know how to use them very well. But
Payne comes in, Fuller, driven. Is he going to beat mid-off? No, they should be through for a single there, and they are.
And so I did that, and I came in on Monday and set it all up, installed a load of software, and everything was running fine. And I left it, and I came in this morning, and for some reason OBS wasn't capturing the TV when I came in this morning. Even though I left it capturing TV, it wasn't doing it this morning, and so I couldn't share the picture to Messi. And then, of course, with the train strikes, I kind of figured you'd turn up late.
Well, I was going to say, not an official strike today, but the service is still just getting back to normal.
Well, yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's a 10 o'clock start, so I didn't leave home till about 20 past 9 anyway.
It's down the leg from Payne. He's probably going to have to bowl that again. He is indeed. It's a wide.
It's a wide. But now we're up and running. We'll get into the swing of things.
Why? Well, it's not like T20. We've got time to settle in.
Yes.
The Netherlands,
yeah. You actually get some breathing space.
Netherlands batsmen are doing the same. So Payne will hopefully, from his point of view, bowl the last ball of this over. 2 slips. Yep, it's punched into the offside. It is fielded by, I think, Livingstone. End of the over, 10 for naught of 4.
All right, I'm going to open GPL now, and you will have an hour to enter. It should be open.
It's 121 quid. Armchair Cricket Podcast says, has England ever had 3 left-arm faster bowlers in an LOI 11, I wonder?
Yeah, two games ago, but before that, possibly not.
What's LOI?
Limited Overs International, I imagine.
Oh,
There you go.
right. That's good. And Parrot Bradshaw says, yes, killing off this fantastic Super League format is up there with murdering the Intercontinental Cup in the list of ICC crimes.
Past the outside edge from Willey. Honestly, not sure if that tweet is being sarcastic or not. I suppose he is. But look, you've got to do something. You can't just say, right, these 8 teams, because they're good at test matches, go straight into the ODI World Cup, like we've been doing forever. So you come up with a better idea.
Yep. And I mean, it's not as if this is the end for the Netherlands either, because even though they'll finish down the bottom of the table for this, there is a further qualifying competition in Zimbabwe next year.
Yeah, Willey bowls that one down the leg side. It will be another wide. Yes, the 5 teams who don't make the top 8 in this competition, which could well include the West Indies, Sri Lanka, and maybe even South Africa, they will go into the sort of prelim tournament that happens. They tend to do those now just before the actual World Cup, but maybe they don't for ODIs. Maybe that's a T20 thing. Yes, the remaining 5 from this competition and the top 3 from the sort of league below will go into an 8-team tournament for the last 2 places. And that could well include Scotland, Namibia, Oman, possibly USA. Willey is in. Down the track comes ODowd, and that's a lovely shot. Flashes that one through extra cover, and that is the first genuine 4, if you like, off the innings. The previous one flew past the slip. And ODowd is on to 6.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Exactly.
In the absence of bear. Actually, Brown Barry says, if this were a real World Cup qualifier, the US would be in it. There you go.
Well, they kind of are. I mean, they're still in the system.
Yes.
Willey is in, and that hits on the thigh pad. Going to go out into the offside for no run.
Oh dear. It's interesting to see that Morgan's convenient grind strain means that he's actually made 0 runs in this whole series.
Oh, is he out of today's game? Did I not realise that?
Yeah, Buttler's taken over as skipper.
So who's come in to the batting? Let me have a look. Oh, well, they're kind of playing Moeen. Yes, Moeen was one of the main bowlers last time, and now he's down at 6. Yes.
Yeah.
So effectively playing an extra bowler for Morgan, which should also provide more runs, being harsh.
Oof.
But yeah,
well, at least the first game he got out first ball. The second one he used up nearly an over to get out.
Yep. Difficult to know what Owen Morgan can do from here. They've really got to make a decision now. Well, maybe the decision's already been made. He's going to stay as captain until the 23 ODI World Cup. Willey is into the Vikram chip, and it's a top edge, and it should be caught, and it is the running in. It went absolutely nowhere. The fielder ran in, took on the next strip. Yes, I've done that recently. Those strips are so hard, he's banged his elbow on the next batting strip, and that can take the skin. Nonetheless, it is a wicket, and Vikramjit is out, and it's a wicket. I'll try and give you a jingle for that.
The crowd says! The crowd says! The crowd says you're out!
Yeah, Liam Livingstone, I think, very glad of his long sleeves when he had to dive forward to take that one on the adjacent wicket. Singh looking at his bat, no point looking at that, mate, and that's out.
Raffles, the gentleman thug, says, good morning, gentlemen. I wonder whether, given they're playing in Holland, it would be fair to assume it's a flat pitch.
Should be.
One event, radio. Rugby league, rugby union, tennis, football. Visit bbc.com.
Yards and he's still able to run in and catch it. Malan actually with the catch.
Do we know anything about this guy Payne?
I don't.
No, I don't either. Anyone else?
Full ball.
Well,
it's up and past Gully and a bit of hands on heads because it was a catchable height, but it does go down to Rashid at third man for a single.
I can tell you Bear, he plays for Gloucestershire on the Welsh Far. He's 31 years old. And he's played 110 first-class matches, 68 list A's, and 108 T20s. So he's got plenty of experience.
Fair enough. Do you want me to explain why the crowd noise was too loud? Probably not.
I don't
Not
mind.
really. As long as it's fixed.
Well, oh God, what's going on here?
Payne comes into Cooper, and he has a flash at that one. It was a wide ball. He missed it, fortunately for him, because there was a keeper and two slips waiting to gobble it up. It just went through to the keeper for no run. Cooper indeed showing that he might have tried to, if he was going to attack that, more of a cut than a drive. Not a lot of movement I'm seeing. I think he just really was a bit too soon in his innings to play that shot, perhaps. Second ball. First ball he faced from Payne. That one is more controlled. It's played out towards cover. He picks it up on the artificial wicket and there's no run.
About the best associate cricketers, I'm just wondering whether when Morgan was playing for Ireland he might have fitted into
Well,
that
I almost
category.
mentioned that plenty of people have played for an associate and then a test nation, or vice versa. It's all bollocks anyway. I don't see why there should be any distinction. Payne comes in, and that's driven up to mid-off. Should be a single there, but no, they didn't take one. Curran just did enough. 17 for 1, with one ball to go in the 6th over. And what do you think the Netherlands should be trying to post here? Yeah.
Well, the other day they posted, 230, didn't they? Well, that was in 41 overs. I mean, they should be looking up for the 280s, 290s.
Yeah, they got 266 in that sort of meaningless chase. Shorter ball is pulled away. It's not very convincing. It's going to be caught. Oh no! Liam Livingstone completely lost that in the sun and didn't even go for it at all. How strange.
It must have gone straight up in the sun. He couldn't come to the thing, clearly.
Well, there is a technique to do that. Not that I'm very good at it. You try to go round the side of it and look at the ball from the side. But Livingstone, everyone's having a good laugh. But that was a bit of Sunday club fielding.
Well, if now O'Dowd goes on and scores a ton, they won't be laughing so much, will
I
they?
don't think Payne's laughing so much. It would have been his first international wicket.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be right pissed off.
And it's Cooper actually, not O'Dowd, so it's probably their main bat. But that was bizarre. Livingstone seemed to just have to take a couple of steps back, but it must have been directly out of the sun because he just stepped away and had a bit of a laugh about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing what Leah said and just trying to give the Dutch a chance. I doubt it.
Speaking of Leo, she says, stop making jokes about the flatness of Northern Europe. We do actually have hills here. Some of them are even inhabited by ants. And Steve Shipcott says, morning all, thank goodness I found my earphones. You can help block out the incessant chatter in the office.
And that would be good as Cooper comes down the wicket a couple of steps. Yeah, he's right under it. Nope, and then he just loses it. And Payne is being very good-natured about it. Not sure I would be.
Yeah. Likewise.
Well, on your debut, you can't afford to make too many waves. Willey comes in. It's off the inside edge of Cooper's bat down to long leg. He'll pick up a single.
Shall we see where David Payne... What do we know about David Payne? He plays for Gloucestershire. And he has First class bowling. He has 314 wickets at an average of 29.39. Not too bad. Best of 6 for 26.
Nothing exceptional though, is it?
No, nothing exceptional, but...
Willey comes in, covered up by O'Dowd, down to gully, and there's no run.
Oh, God.
It's a pleasant day, I think, in Amstelveen. It's not boiling hot like the first game. There's not rain under the covers like the second. They seem to have found a happy medium.
Yeah, it looks like it's a lovely day. It's a lovely day here in London, I have to say.
It's nice. Willey comes in, and that is tucked into the leg side, but it goes back to the bowler for no run. So yeah, certainly not complaining, but simply observing. It was perhaps a bit rash to expect that I could get on the first train from Palmer's Green, because they started at 8 o'clock again this morning.
Yeah, I don't think Tone was thinking about train strikes when he made the...
Other people are more inconvenienced, and anyway, it's only a couple of days inconvenience. But the train pulls up and it's come all the way down from everything, and it's absolutely rammed full. So most people thought, okay, fine, we'll either wait for the next one or there are other options. As O'Dowd tucks that one into the leg side and it'll be a single. So we're making our way back down the platform, except one guy is standing in the middle of the platform with his back to everyone, filming everyone on the train, so he can put it on his Instagram and go, ooh, look at.
I hope everyone told him to fuck off.
I told him, don't be a prick.
And what did he say to that?
Nothing, or I had my headphones on and I walked past him. Anyway, Willey comes in, 2 slips, and driven nicely by Cooper, but it is going to go out mid-off for no run. End of the over, 20-1 off 7.
Yeah, got any tweets there, Messi? You're on mute, mate. I don't know why you're on mute, but you are.
Sorry, I went on mute so I could put Facebook on without interrupting you. Martin Lawrence is with us from Echuca. Welcome, Martin. So one day, cricket now back to the mainly pointless international friendly games outside of World Cup competitions every 4 years. Indeed. And Just Ideal says, needn't watch too much blast to realise David Payne is more than useful. From Australia, he says. In terms of the best associate cricketers, Brian Barish says the answer is Jaskaran Malhotra of the USA, who batted Nepal to the tune of 181 not out, including a 36-run over in an ODI late last year.
Against? As that one is played into cover for no run.
Against Nepal.
Okay.
This is Luigi Magpie, just says Victorious Bear.
Bear versus technology, the ongoing battle. Yeah. O'Dowd steps across the off stump and he is able to beat point. Being a nice shot with the field of sunglasses, but not so much the ball. Or has it hit Jason Roy and bounced off somewhere?
He looks like he's in a bit of pain.
I genuinely can't tell. Let's have a look. He's stopped it, but he's rather caught one on the wrist. Still took one for the team. And there was
he's an hard man.
There's no run. They should have got a single, you would have thought. O'Dowd again steps across to the offside, but just knocks that one down to third man. Tricky bit of fielding and for Rashid, and it's been too tricky. It's defeated him and gone for 4.
It's not the flat out field that he's used to.
Possibly not.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All the same, I didn't see much of a long barrier there. Maybe that might have been a bit
well,
more.
He didn't have much time to get around to it, to be fair.
Let's have another look. I mean, he's quite used to patrolling third man and fine leg. Adil Rashid, it bounces. Oh, and then goes a little bit low, but he might have done better with that.
Possibly.
Is he 36 now, Adil Rashid? You're not the most limber in the field, maybe.
No.
Payne, who's been a bit hard done by so far, I think. And that one's driven nicely by O'Dowd into the cover for no run. He's had one flashed past slip for 4. He's had that one for 4, and he's had Liam Livingstone completely give up on the catch because the sun's too bright.
Yeah, right. So for Mog, who was complaining the crowd noise too loud, Zip has always been banging on about how we should have a compressor. So we got this new bit of audio software because we finally upgraded the computers. So now we're not using Nicecast anymore.
Payne comes in, and that's a good ball. A little bit of a zip on that one. Beats the outside edge of O'Dowd, and there's no run.
Because basically, Nicecast became obsolete about 4 years ago, and they don't offer any support for it. There's no updates for it. But the computer we were using basically couldn't upgrade an operating system and couldn't operate this sort of software. So this one's got a whole load of built-in effects. So I thought I'd put it in a compressor, because Zip always goes on about the compressor. But of course the compressor is compressing the crowd noise and us together, which is why it was sounding so loud and actually sounds quite bad. So I've turned it off.
I see, yeah. We'll get through it. That one is down to point, and Jason Roy fields without any drama this time. End of the over. Sedate start for the Netherlands. It is 24 for 1 off 8.
So, sounds good. No, Bear, I just tested on you.
Yeah, no. Well, I turned it off. It sounds fine. It sounds like it normally does.
Mog says to Brown Barish, that seems a slightly partisan answer. It doesn't make it wrong. Also, after that innings, I did a preemptive jingle for him. My God, you can't help yourself, you jinglers. Brown Barish also says there are quite a few hills, and as of 1939, they were apparently alive with the sound of music. But then they got transported to Vermont, and now they're silent. And Aryak Athru says Kevin Curran, maybe?
Kevin Curran for what?
Best associate cricketer, I suppose.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Willey comes in, it's on off stump, played up to mid-on. In fact, it's a lovely shot by Cooper. He beats mid-on, and that's going to go for 4. Very nice.
2 + 2 is our man.
Wasn't particularly full, but he just punched it past mid-on very nicely. Outfield may not be even, but it looks quick enough.
Yeah, and they were talking that this pitch is even slower than last two at the toss.
It's a different track.
I don't know if it's a different track, to be honest.
Maybe it's just worn a bit. I mean, it would have had nearly 200 overs if it was the same one. Willey picks the ball up, half thinks about throwing it in, doesn't bother. There's no run.
Maybe someone can tell us. It does. There is a cut strip to a cross, which looks like it's been used, so I presume that was the last one.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I read on.
So is this maybe
they're moving on to a different pitch. A bit drier, this pitch, so it might take some spin.
Yeah, is this the pitch? And then they used this fresh one for the second one, so they used the first pitch for the first 2 games, and then they've used the fresh one for this one. Okay.
Yes.
Willey is in again to Cooper. Full driven through cover very nicely. That's going to be 4 more.
It's all going along quite nicely.
1, 2, 3, 4.
New Zealand. It's because I've got the East. Fellow commentators probably on about ball 5 by now. That one's a little bit more on target, just flicked through square leg. They consider a second and wisely decide against it. So just the single to O'Dowd. He moves on to 25. Netherlands 52 for 1. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing all right. Things have been hard quite recently, but I had a very, very pleasant trip to Philadelphia last week. Highlights, of course, were watching the Phillies' fantastic game against the Marlins that I saw with Brian and young Hazel on Monday night.
Lovely.
And then,
power of gorilla around the world.
Indeed, and then the following morning was sat in a discussion of Lukac's writing on Schiller's aesthetics while watching the denouement of the New Zealand Test.
Just break off from the aesthetic talk there. That was dug in short by Curran. Went over everything, including the wicketkeeper's head, signalled a wide, and they've also scuttled through for the... So that's a wide and a bye. And I seem to remember from my scoring from junior school cricket, does that go down as 2 wides in the books? Anyone know?
It does. That's what I would have scored it as. I'm not certain that that's correct.
I think that's what it is. According to this, it says 1 wide. So I imagine it was 2 wides.
Gotcha. That one's flicked off the hips by O'Dowd down to long leg, just for the single.
Given that a wide that runs to the boundary is 5 wides, I'm assuming that a wide off which they run is 2 wides.
Absolute panic when you're scoring, though, at junior cricket. What do I do with that? Do I put a 2 with a W next to it? What do I do? Anyway, it's the next ball. But, there's always those moments, particularly if you're with an inexperienced scorer. Anyway, so quickly, Curran in for the 4th ball of the over. Again, flicked off his legs. Hasn't quite got his radar right yet. Curran in his first over here, just for the 1 run.
If I recall correctly, the wide is the plus in the scorebook, isn't it? And for each run that's scored along with it, you put a dot in each quadrant of the plus.
Try explaining that to someone who's never scored before when they're sitting next to you from the other team. Yeah. I'll explain the quadrant at the end of the over.
Josh,
in again. The 5th ball of the over. That's just played defensively out into the covers. There is no run.
We were talking about how if I didn't happen to have a 2-year-old attached to my hip, I probably would have sat at the Phillies game scoring, and that has a language all of its own.
Oh God, I can't imagine. Oh my God, it makes me feel weak makes me feel a bit ill. Imagine
it's honestly not.
Baseball. Wow.
It's honestly not that hard, to be honest.
Is it, Ron? Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I only ever saw one baseball match. It was. There we are. That's the final ball of the over. No run, just played down to point. Netherlands 56 for 1 at the end of it. O'Dowd on 26, Cooper on 18. 9 runs off Curran's first over.
There's about a 10-minute lag for these, so I apologize if you end up. So please step on me if you need to. James,
I'll let you know.
In our talk about associate cricketer, saying Veritia Arvand is the next big thing in associate cricket. Just turned 20 as a big hitting wicket and batsman, or wicketkeeper batsman for UAE, incredibly talented. Be big name on the franchise circuit, even if his international chances are limited. He actually just scored a century against the USA during that 12-match run. Mog saying, I love it when the bear talks technical. Talk nerdy to me, baby.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to break off there, Brian, because my feed on my screen in front of me is probably sufficient for me to go off that. So I'm going to try that at least. Carse in for the first ball of the over. Scoops it off his legs. There's been a lot of this recently. Just for 1 run down to the man at long leg. Score moves on to 57.
You're probably about a good couple of seconds behind. I'll tell you, hearing you call on delay reminds me. Actually, I did have to leave the Phillies game early because I have the 2-year-old. I will break off as Carse comes in again.
Carse in again. Right arm over. Gambles in like a little bit of a deer. Quite athletic action. Through to point, no run. I went to one baseball match once, you fellows, in which there was 1 run scored in the entire game. It was 1-0 to St. Louis Cardinals. I can't even remember who they were playing.
So when that happens in baseball, they call it a pitcher's duel, and it's very exciting. But a 1-0 game in soccer over here, and they call that boring.
Oh yes, that's what's that called? Dual values. In comes Carse again. Double stand, that's the word. Much fuller. outside off stump. Can't really do anything with it. It was probably there to be hit. He might be rueing that he just got a big inside edge on that one. Problem for Netherlands, I don't know if you agree, they don't quite have the accelerator pedal going, do they, in these games? They're technically okay.
I'll leave Josh to answer that.
Well, this is the first of them I've seen live, insofar as this counts as live.
The gloves,
following mostly on the over.
The gloves are off here. Oh, well, that's at the non-striker's end. It's just got a bit sweaty. That one's hoiked to mid-wicket, rather an ugly shot, and no run. They're failing to get Brydon Carse away here.
I've generally been listening to Guerrilla Cricket in the mornings, because of course the jet lag on a week-long trip means that I was waking up at 5, so perfect to catch the start of a match, but mostly following on the over.
I think I detect a touch of hoarseness in the voice there, Josh. Maybe the jet lag's still lingering. That's played down again to long leg. Again, there's just the single for ODowd. He moves on to 27. Scored 58 for 1.
Indeed. Sorry. I got in on Monday, and my body still thinks it still wants to sleep till about midday.
I was going to say, hopefully your travels on Sunday were better than mine. My flight got canceled coming home from Minneapolis, and I didn't realize it until after I had gotten through security.
Oh, man. Cooper faces up to the last ball of the over. That goes through to the keeper. No run, so just the 2 runs off Carse's first over. Score moves on 58 for 1. Anything happening on socials, Brian?
Oh, plenty. GC Radio Naked Fun Pornbot saying Payne has come into my reckoning for my S&M 11. Leah saying Phillies and jokes, you say. Well, here's one. First to 10,000. Yes, we were the first team to 10,000 losses, Leah, but then we won a world championship afterwards. So,
a world championship, was it?
Yes, it was a world championship. Warren saying commentates. Ian Forth commentates. Fiery Fred comes running in. Roger Melly has a question for me. What pitches they play on in the U.S.? Are there actually proper turf pitches, or do they use concrete synthetic pitches? I'll answer after.
Might get to that. Yes, after this ball. Sam Curran, left arm over. First ball of the over. Absolutely spot on. The bulky figure of ODowd with the magnificent mane of hair just knocks it back down the pitch again. No run.
I would say it's actually kind of a combination. There are a couple of grounds that do have, I guess, proper pitches, especially the handful of stadia that we have. There's Noosa Stadium in Houston, and there's, of course, Central Broward down in Fort Lauderdale. I would say the minor league cricket grounds are the more like regional parks, and they have the drop-in, I guess, the artificial pitches.
Curran coming round the wicket, hence the delay. Probably meant to move the sight screen. Played through point. No run again. They're getting a bit bogged down here, this couple. And yes, Josh is just a little bit of logistics there. Run rate's at 4.7. This is not where they should be at this stage of the match after the power play, but long way to go. In comes Curran again, round the wicket. ODowd wields his like a sort of mighty hammer of the gods, but it only goes about 3 feet and dribbles out onto the offside.
I don't know why he swung at that.
They need to start swinging a bit more. I don't want to get the porn bot going when I say swinging.
Is there any possibility of a contest here?
There's always a possibility. The Dutch have beaten England 4 times in history. Curran, round the wicket. That's interesting. ODowd takes 1 step across his wicket, has an almighty heave towards square leg, and the ball ends up going down through the third man area for 1 run, but it's still 1 run.
It just seems to me that they're batting in order to try and avoid complete humiliation and getting bowled out for double figures or low hundreds, rather than to give themselves a chance of winning the game.
Well, there's some truth in that, but the scores they're registering would have been very respectable scores 20 or 25 years ago. Curran round the wicket through the square leg area. They're playing like a team for a run. They're playing like a team from about 25 years ago, which is kind of okay at their stage of development. They're just never going to win against the big team, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. And also they're up against a team that has been breaking record after record in terms of first innings scores.
They are running hot. It's not what we used to traditionally with English cricket, but that's what we've got with our ODI team. We just never quite get the test team in sync with it. Maybe the worm has turned. What's this? The last ball of the over. Curran around the wicket. And that's played through the point region. I believe there is no run. So Netherlands 60 for 1 at the end of the 13th. Brian.
I'm going to step aside from Twitter and see what's going on YouTube here. I'm going to run as fast as we can. Davey Pat saying, morning, no Morgan. Josh Cooper, do we think, quote, tight groin, unquote, was a bit of a get-out injury? Good morning to Rich Turner Music. Josh Cooper saying, can't bag a duck if you're not playing. Stephen Kelk, good morning all. Good morning to you, Stephen. I was there at Sunday's ODI. It was a lot of fun. Didn't Vikramjit Singh get out in a similar way in the second ODI? I remember a top edge and an easy catch. Good morning to Suitor Who. Trying to keep an eye on things whilst working at the same time. Need to make sure I'm on mute in meetings.
Very good. In comes Carse. Flurry of arms and legs. Good connection from Cooper, but straight out to the sweeper on the boundary for just one run. Cooper played very well in the last match. No doubt did as well. They've probably been the highlights from a batting point of view. They certainly have actually for the Dutch over this period. So maybe Josh, the thing is they think, well, if these two are our best bet, let's get them to bed in and start accelerating. Maybe
problem is that's not going to lead to a contest 98 times out of 100.
Nope, that's true. In comes Carse again. And this one's played slightly aerially. My screen's getting a little fragmented, unfortunately. That's a shame. And I'm kind of assuming that's probably gone for 4 as I've gone into super jerky mode. Sorry, Paul.
You'd like 4 to me.
You'd be right. And I don't think we've got the bear there. Oh, no, there he is.
3, 4.
I'm having difficulty distinguishing the small zoom pictures of the bear and Brian. You're both looking quite impressively hirsute.
Oh Lord!
Big haircut from Bear's probably been talked about already this morning. In comes Carse. Launches into action. O'Dowd is very, very full. He wouldn't want to have missed that. Clipped off the legs. It would have gone through to hit middle, just for a single through to mid wicket. O'Dowd moves to 33.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Josh. I was on they did a story. The local one of the local TV stations did a story on the tournament that I was covering, and they interviewed me, and I took a screenshot of it off the TV and I sent it to my parents and my brother. My brother, who's 5 years younger than me, and always likes to turn the screw, says, "Look, Santa."
Carse in again. Short, dug in. Pulled down into a vacant square leg area, and that's another 4. Carse proving expensive. 10 runs off the first 4 balls here.
I was called young man on my flight home from Philadelphia, and I was so, having just turned 40, I was so pleasantly surprised at being called young that I forgot to bristle at being called man.
I must say, you do not look 40, Josh.
No,
I mean that as a compliment. You do not. You look 30. In comes Carse again. Launches himself at the wicket. Dowd launches himself back again. This goes straight through to mid-off. First dot ball of the over.
Must be all those years of clean living.
There is no way in hell that you and I are the same age. I mean that as a compliment. I could have sworn you were at least 10 years younger.
You meet somewhere in the middle, a deviation towards the mean.
I'll deviate in any direction.
Last ball of the over. The run rate's up over 5 for the first time in the innings. Carse in again. Oh, that's a really loose ball. A really rank full toss, and he gets away with it because it was hammered towards point, and the fielder managed to field it successfully. End of the over. 70 for 1 at the end of the 14th.
All right, Warren says, thank you for the scoring info. That was exactly the reason I never scored. He also says, did I just see a man in an all-black Yorkshire cricket cap Oh, the irony. Well, yeah, but the last time Netherlands beat England, the ECB thought Stuart Broad was a white ball player. Just Ideal asking, how, Ian, are you overcoming the geo block to view this Netherlands-England match? That was answered.
The answer is that, yes, that my son invested in a VPN quite coincidentally a couple of weeks ago for his own nefarious purposes, and it's come in very handy.
I'm a proponent of VPNs for various reasons, which I'll get to after this ball.
Curran, in again, round the wicket. Oh, it's a pretty awful ball. And he does not get away with it. That's gone to Cow for 4 runs by O'Dowd, and they're serving up a diet of pretty awful bowling right now.
Visible panty Netflix, as they shall forever be known in this house.
Literally can't hear anything there. I'm not sure if there was a jingle there, but...
I was just talking over it, sorry.
No, you're okay.
Damn it, Josh.
Professionals at all times. In for the second ball of the over, Brydon Carse. Oh, that's played nicely. Glided down. I won't say root style because it's hard to imagine two more different physical forms than Root and O'Dowd, but the effect is the same. He picks up a single, he moves on to 38.
I always thought the idea of a VPN was sort of hazy, but then I was forced to basically get one to avoid having to watch NBC's coverage of the 2016 Summer Olympic opening ceremonies, and I saw the light, and I am now a believer.
You were an early adopter of the VPN by the sound of it.
I was, but now I like circumventing things. That's why I've watched the new Bluey episodes that have come out, because screw Disney.
Curran over the wicket and picks out the man at wide mid-off, I suppose. They just pick up a single. And,
I'm actually paying for Disney Plus at the moment on the grounds that torrenting the various things I might want to watch from them seems to me to be to involve more time than it's worth to save the however many pounds it is a month.
Yeah.
I mean, we so straightforward, didn't it? It was just Netflix, and it was all there, and you didn't. There's about 7, 8, 9, 10 different platforms. Curran in again, dug in. O'Dowd gets on top of it and pulls it down to the man at long leg. Just ambles through for the single. He moves to 39. Yeah, no, it's a confusing world. I can't remember what platforms I've got and what I haven't got now. I couldn't remember the other day, but I've got Amazon.
I need to cancel my Discovery Plus now that the classic season is finished in the cycling.
Yeah, I'll never get around to cancelling any of those. I think, $5, I might need it again at some point. 5th ball of the over, I think. And absolutely honest with you, it was very hard to see what happened there, but let's call it a dot ball. Nothing much can have happened.
No, you're right.
We see a picture of Dominic.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Dominic Cork, who's taken over from the position of intensely irritating commentator in the box, but he's got quite a nice blue shirt on, I will say that. Last ball of the over. Curran round the wicket, dug in again, so obviously thinks that's the way to go. And it's given the wide. I think that may be a touch harsh. I'm not sure on what basis that was a wide. Maybe just overhead height.
Oh, height. Yeah, cleared his head while jumping.
No, it did. It did as well. Yeah.
But he was
I don't
he was
know.
also a fair way forward to it. Had he been in his crease and not jumping, it would have been more obviously over.
Yes, slightly odd tactics against the Netherlands, but it's the way he's decided to go. Cooper faces up to what will be the last ball of the over, and that's line and length delivery. Flicked through mid-wicket, past the man at mid-wicket to the man at Rashid, who's the man at wide mid-on. O'Dowd keeps the strike, he moves to 39, Netherlands 79 for 1 at the end of the 15th.
Do you think England are trying to contrive to make a game of it, or might there even be something more nefarious going on involving a leather jacket?
Oh, I doubt it. Brian, what's happening on socials?
Yeah, the GC porn bot says, is it me, or do white balls need more attention than red balls? Warren says, nerdy question, are you watching Sky using your VPN? If so, how do you get past the need for a subscription?
I am watching the ECB feed via VPN.
Oh, I gotcha. I'm gonna I'm gonna do a commercial the next stoppage, I think.
It's in again, full, and not that wide in the block hole, but wide of the stumps, as it were, straight through to the keeper. Good ball, actually, from Carse.
Are you getting paid for it, Brian? Is Guerrilla Cricket getting paid for it?
Well, it's about Guerrilla Cricket, so...
Oh, great, excellent.
I recently became a Patreon and wanted to encourage others to do the same.
Oh, please do. After this ball, just talk a little bit about Patreon, if someone wouldn't mind. Carse leaps into action. And the ball is sort of hit into the ground, so far into the ground that even at Carse' extreme height, you can't reach the bounce up, as it were. But at no great speed, there is no run.
So yeah, I've been following Guerrilla Cricket for 3 years, and I only just last week became a Patreon, and I regret very much waiting so long. But I will tell you that it was instantaneously I discovered a very good decision. I'll break off for this ball by Carse.
Let's talk a little more after this ball. Carse. And again, straight down to the man at point, no run. Tell us more, Brian.
Yeah, so you get, of course, the access to the entire archive of Guerrilla Cricket matches, which was fun because I went back and was listening to them. You, of course, get access to all of the jingles, or at least most of them. I noticed there's a couple missing, but I won't begrudge those who are uploading to be on top of all of that all of the time as the ball comes in.
Break off as Carse approaches the wicket. A nice shot, big forward stride, flicked to mid-on, and they scootle through for the first run of the over.
And of course, there's the new feature. Of course, there's the newsletter called Snacksmum, where our very own Gorilla Hendo, I had to think about that because I haven't had coffee yet. Our very own Gorilla Hendo expounds upon the happenings of the game. And of course, there is the podcast, The Bish and the Bear, as they break off once again.
And again, O'Dowd takes aim, but nothing much happens. It just goes down the leg side. Without, it is indeed a wide. We've probably got a wide jingle.
Wide.
There it is.
Sorry, Forthy, I didn't know if that had gotten lost in the. But anyway, yeah. So all of that is fantastic. There's also, of course, the series of interviews that Messi Jez did with various gorillas, as Carse will come in again.
This one just dabs down to the man at third man. There'll just be one run for O'Dowd. He moves on into the 40s off 52 deliveries.
Where he joins Josh and I, apparently. But yeah, he did a bunch of interviews earlier this year that have slowly been made out onto the Patreon. So for as little as $2 a month, I don't know what it works out to in Lizzie bucks, but go ahead.
Last ball of the over, Carse in again. Oh, and that's a big appeal there. False shot from O'Dowd, but they decide not to review. Netherlands 82 for 1 at the end of the 16th. Anything happening on socials?
Yeah, let's see. We've got Leia saying, I have a question about the ECB feed. Is it an unlisted YouTube stream or embedded in the ECB site?
It's in the ECB site.
That's what I figured. Roger Melly saying, does anyone know where the origin of nether in Netherlands?
Presumably it's low.
Yeah, maybe it's just how my brain works, but I'm sure.
Well, I'm not sure about that, because I think Holland is lowland, and I think that's the southern half of the country, but I might be talking absolute balderdash, and I think Netherlands includes not just the lowland, but the nether or higher lands as well.
But Nida as opposed to Hoch in the Middle High German route.
Oh, look at this. This is like bloody linguistic top trumps when you're on with Josh. I love it.
I was going to say, I feel like I feel like I really am in the presence of higher intellectuals, such as more than myself. I will tell you that I think in French, it's Pays-Bas. So, which I guess means low country. So
nether regions.
The replay indicating that, in fact, O'Dowd got a little inside edge, which might be one of the reasons they didn't review. O'Dowd shapes up to Curran. No run there, just played out into the offside. We got onto the Finno-Ugrit tongue and the Uralic last time we were on, because Finland came up. So I apologise for that. For those who aren't interested in Suomi, yes, that's right. Things took a linguistic bent for a while.
Non-Indo-European languages in Europe.
Exactly. That was what I said. What's the connection between Finland and Hungary?
And Estonia, for that matter.
And Estonia, but not all of Estonia. That's a full ball from Curran, back to the cricket. He decides pretty quickly against the LBW review, because it was full and hit him smack on the pads, but it's always quite hard to get one when your left arm over to the right-handed batsman. They decide against it because of the angles.
Need to tell you about my French podcast story.
Oh, lovely. Well, let's get on to that after this ball.
Yeah.
Well, we're having a look at the replay there. It wouldn't have been a bad call. Maybe height.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see the result of that. So that's played down to the man at mid-off. O'Dowd's gone back into his shell with the last few balls. 3 dot balls. Curran's over so far.
Yeah, when I was going to Montreal and I was trying to find an easy way to learn French, and I found this podcast called Coffee Break French, which, give it, looks like it was out. It wouldn't have been out anyway because it was pitching outside leg.
Pitched outside leg, not by much, but enough.
Yeah.
Curran in again. He does get tight to the stumps, which gives him more of a chance with LBW. That one's dug in again, indicated 1 or maybe 2 for the over by rifle, but he can't do anything with it, and it just disappears a few feet onto the offside now run.
Yeah. So anyway, I found this website. I found this podcast, and I was like, oh, I'll be able to get to learn French from speakers. So the guy comes on, he goes, "Hello, I'm Dave. This is Anna. We're from Edinburgh. We're gonna teach you French." Lesson 1, bonjour.
Other podcasts are available, you immediately thought. And you haven't sort of invested in a set of 100 CDs or something.
No, it was free.
Curran in again. And he pitches that one in a little short. Hit off his legs, off his hips, down to the man at deep square leg. They come through for a single. O'Dowd moves on to 41. He seems to have been hogging the strike for the last 3 or 4 overs.
No investment other than time and bandwidth. The etymology of Holland is not actually
here we go.
Hollow. The etymology of Holland it's woodland. It's cognate with the German word Holz. Holtland is Holland. It's a wooded area.
And Pirate Badshaw has put a map up for you, Forthy.
No, that's helpful. Thank you, Pirate Badshaw.
A map of what?
Of the Netherlands.
The Netherlands. That's played down to the man at deep long on at the end. That's 1 run to Cooper. Looks like it's the end of the 17th. Netherlands age 4 for 1. They're going to take a drinks break, so chance to catch up on some social.
Absolutely.
Is it a map of the whole of the Netherlands, though, or just the?
No, it's the entire Netherlands.
So it does. It includes not only the European parts.
Yeah.
Just say yes, Brian. Just say yes.
Oh, sure. Anyway, even the parts that apparently they're planning, the polders. Anyway, where was I? Just Ideal says, for as little as $2, for Christ's sakes, these are the best cricket peeps on the planet. Stand up and cough up. Well, thank you, Just Ideal.
Lovely.
You can get more. It's $5 a month if you want the jingles and stuff, and $10 if you want your name to be scrolled, which is good. Let's go over to YouTube, since apparently somebody is accusing us of not reading YouTube comments. Neil B.
Is that because we're not reading YouTube comments?
Yeah. Nobody asked you. No, I'm just kidding. Regarding Mog's question, were Zimbabwe full members when David Houghton was in his pomp? Best associate member cricketer. Steve Webster saying, here's a couple from the past. Ole Mortensen and Paul Jan Bakker. HJP saying, unbelievable concepts. Let's try that again. Unbelievable content labs. Keep it up. Stephen Kelk saying, I love O'Dowd's backlift. Suitor Who saying shame, also saying fuck, this meeting is taking too long. Stephen Kelk saying we sit here crying in the digital dark, ignored and unloved. Jazz is saying, do you boys read the YouTube comments? No. And then
we'll read them more if you join us on Patreon.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And then Josh Cooper says, read this comment. No. And then Suitor Who saying loud noises. And it's somewhere in the middle of that, a naked porn bot was tackled and destroyed, and now we are caught up. I haven't looked on Facebook just yet, but I will do that now and report back later.
It's worth
tackled like a streaker by a member of ground security staff.
It was probably Colin. You know, he's the Scotsman. But you would tend to think that a Scotsman would have no issue like just tackling a rogue porn bot.
You wouldn't think so. It's worth adding that if you want to absolutely guarantee you get your YouTube comment read out, you can sponsor it for as little as however many dollars it is. And we got a little flurry off them last time we said that. So please do attach a $sign. It's at the bottom of the commentary screen. It's a big dollar, and you can sponsor it.
Hey, Bear, can we confirm that the GPL is still happening? I think it's
2 minutes left. I think.
Thank you.
Let me just
What's it looking like?
No entries.
Ah, there we are. Well, it is the Netherlands. Come on. Yeah, let's have a late flurry.
I'll open it for another 5 minutes. There is £121 in the pot.
I would do it, but I'm already giving you £5 a month. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, that's fine.
If you just get... Oh, it has to be on the dot. It can't, it's not closest to, is it, the GPL?
No, we did a thing for, was it the IPL or the World Cup or something, where there was a bonus prize if you got within 10 or something like that. You got entered into a draw, but that's not part of the regular rules. I can't remember quite what it was, but since it doesn't apply at the moment, it really doesn't matter. But yes, do get your act in on our gateway drug to problem gambling and join the Guerrilla Prediction League.
We're sitting here. We're sitting at the Phillies game, and they're doing a 50-50. Where you basically buy tickets, and half the money goes to a charity, and half the and the other winner wins half the pot. And Josh says, so it's the Phillies version of the GPL then.
We've got in Victoria, we're the proud holders as the world capital of gambling. We've got more people with gambling problems here than anyone else.
Yeah,
addicted to sorry pokies. To cut in on you guys while you're talking gambling. Just to let the bear know that the GPL is actually still coming up as closed with the figures from the last game, so it hasn't actually been opened.
That's why there's no.
That would explain why there's no entries.
That would explain it. First ball of the over from Carse. Thank you for that little cameo performance, like David Gower in the 80s from Messi there. Dot ball, first ball of the over.
But without the waft
Carse.
Without the waft to mid-on. Fine leg ball before lunch.
For a lovely little cameo of 32.
I'm gonna pretend Lucky Grills just said that.
And that's chopped down by Cooper this time, Carse, and he chopped it down to great effect. That's 4 of these. No jingle. Okay. sorry. But did you?
Oh, there's something.
I heard just.
Sorry, just reopening the GPL.
Just reopening GPL. That counts.
That's okay, Bear. We'll get through today. It's just one day.
Change the
test. To bear the unitasker.
Cooper moves to 33 off 34, so he's very much up with the run rate. Which is very good. He ducks under that one, which is a dot ball. Perfectly judged from Carse. Didn't go over head height. Perfectly legitimate delivery. One for the over. It's a perfect little stadium, the Amstel Vienne, surrounded by bosky trees. It's a delightful ground, actually.
I'm going to say it's rather nice looking.
It is, yeah.
I'd spend 7 hours there.
Yeah, I certainly would. Yeah. Carse in again. 4th ball of the over. Line and length, and Cooper can't do much with that one. Just plays it back down the wicket. No run.
Of course, we talk about... Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
As I made such a cock up with the GPL, I'm going to leave it open now until 11:45. I basically put a start time at 3 o'clock this afternoon and closing at 11:45, 11:15 this morning, which obviously doesn't work.
You think it was a day-nighter?
Whoops.
Fucked it up. So I've opened it up again, and it's open for another half an hour. And the pot is 121, and we've already had 7 people enter.
Oh, there we are. It's a slightly cheery, amateurish feel on occasions, but there again, you don't even have to pay for it. That's hoiked well up into the air. There's a man underneath it, and very nice take. Livingstone catches it on the deep square leg boundary. That's the end of Cooper's very attractive little innings of 33 off 37, almost Gower style. And Netherlands have lost their 2nd wicket at the score of 88. Almost at the end of the 18th.
Now, what's he scored since he was put down by Livingstone in the one that...
by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Carse has got he's already got a few wickets in ODIs. I was just checking whether that he was off the mark. No, he's got 7 or 8 wickets in ODIs, so he's doing pretty well. Looks quite lively, Brydon Carse, doesn't he?
Let's what do we got on social media? We've got let's see. Mog says, "Don't just hand over $2, you tight ass buggers. Give them at least 10. That's the spirit."
I endorse this message.
Armchair Cricket podcast saying the short ball barrage from Carse and Curran seems to be playing right into the Netherlands' hands. Having bided their time, they are now able to accelerate and make up for the lost time. Whatever happened to bowling dry and to one's fields in the BMOs? Well, that was 6 minutes ago before a wicket came crashing down. Let's see. Pirate Batcha saying outlying parts of the Kingdom of the Netherlands are included in box inserts. And Warren saying YouTubers could pay for their comments to be read out. And then a couple of folks saying the GPL was not open, which has been rectified.
Has indeed. Now, who's coming to the wicket now? It's Leede. Does he have a jingle there? I expect he has. Going to reach for it now. Any second.
Got no skills, got no runs, got no future, got no hope. No! Don't you know you got as a leader?
The players cross while the ball is in the air, so ODowd faces the next ball from Carse, but he gets a single down to deep square leg, and that does get Baz, the leader of the gang, on strike. Baz, the leader, does not have the most attractive of stats, it has to be said. He's got an average of 15 in ODI, so he has scored 252 runs off his 17 matches. He's got a strike rate of 45.98, so he'll need to up that significantly.
And that's with the bat, not the ball, right?
That is definitely with the bat, not the ball. He's got an economy of 5.69 and an average of 51 with the ball, so he's not a certainty in the side, I would say. He's facing his first ball, though. Let's see what happens here.
I mean, to be fair, his average is better than mine, so.
But you're not an international cricketer, man, unless you can tell us differently. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not really technically a cricketer, but
How is the USA cricket? Oh, actually, we missed the end of the over there. It was 89 for 2 at the end of the 18th.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, no. So
my fault.
That's okay. They just completed a 12 game. Actually, they would have played an 8 of them. They had Scotland, Oman, the UAE, and Nepal just come by as part of that league that we were talking about a little bit earlier as part of the qualification process. I'll break off.
Livingstone in with his little right arm leg spinners. I'll say little. Yeah, pretty good actually. And ODowd kept the strike, but gets that through to deep mid wicket. He gets a single, moves on to 43. Delayed is now going to face his first ball. As we see some men stripped to the waist in orange trousers in the crowd. They look a little intimidating, if I'm honest. We've got the ODowd haircuts as well. In comes Livingstone. And that's played nicely enough. Wasn't a great ball, but through to point for no run. Gets off the golden duck. Livingstone tosses the ball from hand to hand. Comes in for his third ball of the over. And that's played very nicely by Delayed, wide of the man at mid-off. And David Willey comes round from long off and fields the ball. They run through for 2. Delayed is underway.
Yeah, but, never mind. Go ahead.
Sorry. Livingstone again for his fourth ball. The over. That one's pitched on leg, and so is hit straight down to the man at long on for a single. Yes, Brian?
No, I was just going to finish the thought and say there was really their chance to kind of stay in touch with the top 3, because the top 3 move on to the qualifier, and everybody else in that League 2 goes into some sort of repechage with the league below it.
Got it. Livingstone in for the 5th ball of the over. That's just played through in out to the covers for a quick single by O'Dowd. He moves on to 44 off 60. One ball of Livingstone over to go.
And the other point of that is that the minor league cricket, which is right now the highest domestic level, that kicks off this weekend as well.
Got it. That one's a little bit of a tempter. Floated up outside off stump. Leede deals with it quite successfully. Just waits for the ball. And hits it out wide into the covers. And keeps the strike. He gets a single there. Livingstone 6 runs off his first over at Netherlands 95 for 2 at the end of the 19th.
Over on Facebook.com/Gorilla Cricket, where of course you can watch us there as well. Craig John saying, hi guys, as always, tuned in via GorillaCricket.com. Can't wait for the test tomorrow. Well, good morning, Craig. Thanks for joining us. And Andrew Wright says, Wibble. Also, we have a couple of folks such as Terry Francis, Mark Lambourne, and Idris Shamad also giving us little reactions as well. Over back on Twitter, Mog says, is the Leeds average better than the Bears, though? And Roger Melly had a question for me real quick. I sometimes hear mainstream commentators say a bowler is bowled a knuckleball. I think it's bollocks. They are just referring to a conventional solar ball. It's impossible to bowl a true knuckleball with a cricket bowling action. I don't know enough about actually like bowling, like that actual part to tell you, but I think it might be possible.
It is possible, I think. That is the first ball of Carse is over. They consider a single, the leader does, and then thinks better of it very wisely. No, it's the middle finger is sort of bent back and it's propelled down the wicket, as I understand it.
It's also how you grip the ball. I mean, that's literally what it is you're gripping it like that. I would imagine that if you're doing that, the ball would almost sort of like gravity would kind of take the ball out of your hands, which I guess it kind of does in the bowling motion anyway. But the difference is that the ball would just kind of float through the air. I don't know how much of an effect it would have since there is no bounce in baseball.
Ours. In again. Defended by Leede. No run. Do you ever think with Brian that the absence of the pitch having any effect in baseball, really the overhead conditions as well, diminishes the game in comparison to cricket, or do you think baseball has got its advantages?
I know. I think in terms of, I mean, I think it's a different. Somebody out there taking selfies while the play is going on. That's interesting. No, I think that it really is a little bit more pure. I'll finish in a second.
As in again. Pings that in short. Leede sways out of the way successfully, but no run.
The thing is because there is not that the same like the atmospheric conditions, the ground. I think it's a little bit more pure in that sense because now it's just a matter of how different types of pitches, different speeds, and also really the ability of the pitcher, because there are some pitchers, like especially closers, that when you're only bringing them up for some amount of time, can hit 3 digits on the gun.
3 digits.
You going to talk to us about the Phillies bullpen, Brian?
In comes Carse. That's played out into the covers. No run. 4 dot balls so far this over. Leede getting bogged down against Carse.
The game the night after we went, the Phillies closer, I had a couple of friends from my conference who went along to it, and the Phillies closer apparently had an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. But then the Wednesday afternoon game, they won on a walk-off home run.
Again?
And there we are. Carse in again. Bangs it in somewhat short, and that's played out to point. There's obviously a strategy of bowling it in short, and I have to say that although Cooper did get going, he then got out to the shorter stuff, so it's not particularly attractive cricket, but it's reasonably effective from England.
I guess the other thing with baseball is that the absence both of the dot ball and the force means that it's the rhythm of the game is completely different, so that it's as if any advantage you might have by not having the pitch as an equation is taken away from the batter.
Last ball of our time together is full, and Carse's 5 dot balls are ruined by that shot. Very nice shot from Leede. Hit for 4 through the deep point area.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So, at the end of the 20th over in our time together, as 3 hombres, the score moves on to 96 for 2, Leede on 4, and ODowd on 44. And we welcome a new team, although I'm staying on.
Well, I unfortunately won't be able to continue later on, so I will talk to y'all later.
Nice to see you, Brian.
Likewise,
As
take
always.
care. Hi, Messi. Bye, Messi.
Hello. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Josh, for now. Livingstone is in. It's a little bit too short. Tipped into the leg side. They're going to go for 2, and they should get... Well, I think they should have maybe have got them there, but Carse was in quickly enough to keep it 2-1. Ian, what have you made of this Netherlands innings so far?
I think they'll be disappointed that Edwards got out when he did. He was the one guy who I think they can who might have really made a game of it, and I thought that was a bit of a shame. But otherwise, they're carrying on where they've left off in the last couple of games, really.
Oh, it's at leading edge. It's going to be the simplest catch in the world for Josh Buttler. Oh, no, it's not. It's come off the pad. That looked, for all the world, like a leading edge to me, but I guess it just flipped off that bouncy pad, and it's ended up with being no run. Never mind.
There's no great excitement from the fielders for once. They usually get overexcited.
No, that one's tossed up on leg stump and is played up to long on for a single. Well, I've had a beer, perhaps that explains it. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. No, it just bounced up off the thigh pad, sorry.
Yes, anything could happen with my feet at the moment, so I could easily get overexcited.
Down the leg side from Livingstone, I'm sure that's going to be a wide. It is. O'Dowd kept his foot planted, so there was no danger of a stumping, but that is going to be a wide. Now, I'm not going to commit to saying that what that one did after the last one. I think it might have missed everything and bounced off Josh Buttler. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's been given as a bye, so I got that one right at least.
Well, you've got your eye in. Well done.
I've got my eye in, exactly. That was a good ball from Livingstone. It beat the batsman and then dropped off, bounced off Josh Butler's thigh. That one not so good because it's down the leg side again.
Wide by wide.
Yeah, it's a good one. The one in between. Wide.
Yes.
And bounced off Josh Buttler is giving him a bit of credit. It just bounced out of his gloves. So it's all happening at least with Livingstone. That one is dropped into the offside and a quick bit of fielding and there's no run. 5 off the over, but 3 of them have been extras. Comes up to maybe complete it. I would think so. Yes, it's a good ball and off stump. Covered up back to the bowler. It's no run. 104 for 2 off 21.
And Mog says, good question. Why is Livingstone bowling before Adil or Moeen?
Well, I was going to ask that. What do you think, guys?
No, it's right-handers. No, but that's one of them sort of runs. Moeen's an off-spinner. He was pretty good in the last match, Livingstone, to be fair to him.
I think it's an opportunity to try him out, really, isn't it?
I think so. I think we're just having a look. Yeah.
Most likely to be that, I'd have thought, yes.
I mean, you've got
Josh Hoover's not very complimentary. He says the English batters look like they can chase any score, which is a good thing since the bowlers look like they can give away any score.
Well, I don't see them conceding.
What happens when they have to bowl against a first flight team?
Well, usually they do pretty well, to be fair to them. This is a particularly good ODI period for English cricket.
Okay, it's going to be one of the aforementioned spinners somewhere. It's clipped out to cover and there's no run. England ODI will probably be in that one.
This seems reasonable.
And a retreat on the 45. And a retreat on the 45. And a retreat on the 45.
Comes in, tossed up and is dropped into the offside by O'Dowd. They'll get through for a quick but comfortable single.
Yes. Sorry, I was just checking something there. My apologies.
Yeah, my Fitbit has run out of battery, so I'll have to count my steps on my phone for the rest of the day. That's a zeroth world problem.
That means you don't have to do any jogging from now on.
It means the exact opposite of that. Rashid comes in. It's a short ball and Leede clips it into the leg side, beats a tumbling mid-wicket, but I'm sure there'll be someone out there in the deep. There is, they get back for 2. Goes past Rashid, but I hope someone's backing it up.
Did you watch the first 2 ODIs, Andy? I can't remember if you did any commentary on those 2.
I was commentating on the first one through a series of still photos, mostly. So I did generally pick that up. Rashid comes in. It's a good ball tossed up, played back down the wicket. So for a lot of the time I was just getting still pictures of the bowler, Josh Buttler, and the trees, and trying to kind of figure it out from there. I didn't see
all you needed to know.
Just about. I didn't see... I catch up with the highlights on YouTube. I didn't see the second one. Onto the pads from Rashid, and it's played into the leg side for no run.
They just get a bit bogged down in these. Well, they just generally get a little bit bogged down, but that's, they're fair enough. They're just not quite at that level of ODI cricket.
No. And I think, as you said, that's clipped away by Deleda, but just a square leg. And again, you feel like a more accomplished international batsman would have found a run or two there with a bit of placement. That's the end of the over. It's only gone for 3, and it's 107 for 2.
Good discussion going on YouTube with Josh Cooper and Stephen Kelk and Loby Popey, who says you definitely can bowl a knuckleball, but your accuracy will decrease. I prefer to use a split finger grip instead. I think that's the thing with knuckleballs, isn't it? To get them right, you really do need to work a hell of a lot in training yourself. Josh Cooper says got a couple of wickets in the nets last night with slowies, but I only bowled them
with your 20
because I was...
with your 20 fielders that all net bowlers have. Livingstone punches that one out to deep cover. They will come back for 2. It's good running from the non-striker who's comfortably home.
Ian Botham was a great one for having 13 fielders on commentary.
O'Dowd on to 48. Doesn't look totally convincing, but I certainly haven't scored any 48s against England, so who am I to say? That one is out to cover, and there's no run.
Well, he's done reasonably well this series, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He's looked, I was going to say solid, he's looked more than solid, physically speaking.
That one is punched out to deep cover. He may have to wait for his 50 though, because that should just be one. Sam Curran with the fielding.
You do get some strange shapes as you go down the card on international cricket, in particular. Who's that Bermudan fellow? Is it? He was absolutely enormous.
Cornwall's the West Indian. Leverock is the Bermudan.
Oh, that's right.
That's who I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Punched by Deleda, and he's going to beat deep cover, and that is going to be 4.
Now my innings going, great guns, I hit the ball, 4 runs, I hit the ball, and it went for 4 runs.
A little bit too wide, a little bit too full for Livingstone, and Deleda drove it nicely through the covers.
One of the good things about cricket, it does accept all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, absolutely. That was played out to cover, and there's no run. International cricket a little bit less forgiving.
Yes, a little bit less. I mean, I remember someone like Harry Pilling played for Lancashire. He was about 5'1".
That one's clipped up to long on by Deleda. Just be a single. I'm talking more about width than height. Really.
Yes, well, it is as width, yes.
115 for 2 off 23. That's exactly 5 and over.
I just let you know that O'Dowd's last 5 scores before this game in ODIs has been 39, 51, 89, 55 and 7 on Sunday. So that's not a bad run.
Not at all bad. Not at all bad. He's got a average of 45.61 before this series at least. That's probably gone up a bit.
Rashid is going to continue.
Josh Cooper points out that his wickets in the nets were bowled. Thank you very much.
Okay, fine. No need, you didn't have to point that out, but fair enough. Rashid, that one's played up to mid-on, there's no run. Tosses that one up, and again it's clipped up to the very short mid-on, and no run again.
They're rattling through their overs, these fellas. Livingstone in particular, despite 2 wides, probably bowled that over in about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Another good ball from Rashid, who does look a little bit of a cut above Livingstone, as he ought to, as an experienced, genuine leg spinner. And again, there's no run. Yep, England certainly don't want any points deductions for over rates. Driven by Deleda, he will get that one up to long off for a single.
Yes, Livingstone very much in the side, just as much for his batting. But there's a great deal to be said for hustling through your overs in this form of cricket before you know where you are. It's the end of another over, you've only scored 3.
Any form of limited overs cricket, yes.
Absolutely.
ODowd on 49. Rashid comes in, there's no slip for him. Tosses one up, plays it into the covers. Unless there's a run out, he'll get through for 50s, through fairly comfortably. And well done to him. Milestones.
Yeah, I think that's his 8th. Yeah, along with Edwards, he's the most credentialed Dutch batsman. That's his 7th half-century in international cricket.
He's averaging 46, which is pretty good for ODIs.
Clipped away from Deleda. Oh, and it's a little bit of a misfield at mid-wicket. I'm sure he's going to have some backup, and it doesn't cost any runs. Yeah, not too sure about a strike rate of 73 on what looks like fairly benign track and a quick outfield.
Yeah, fair enough. He's anchoring the innings.
Great, that's what we need, more of them.
Socials, Messi?
Sorry, yes. Armchair Cricket Podcast says moved on me. Saw the clip of the ODI cap presentation on debut for David Payne. A nice touch to have his significant other and the kid present at such a special occasion.
Yeah, it seemed to bring your wife to work day, yeah.
Well, why not?
Because it looks a bit unprofessional. Livingstone is in, don't mind me. That was clipped up to long on for a single.
No, I would think it's quite dangerous to bring your wife to work. She finds out exactly what you do all day.
Or don't do all day.
It will be quite disillusioning. I once break off.
I'm sure she's not going in the dressing room. Buttler throws that one up in the air. Does he think it's out? Livingstone thinks it's out. No one else does, though. Oh, yes, it is. Yep. ODowd has gone 50 and out. He still looks a bit perplexed, but that is his sort of general look, so I may not read too much into that. But he is wandering off, and the DRS timer expires, and that means... Good ball by Livingstone, maybe a little bit of dip there, not quite as full as ODowd thought, fishing away from his body and just gets the thinnest of edges through to Josh Buttler.
I have to say, Livingstone and Buttler are amongst the least enthusiastic celebrators of wickets that you can come across.
I'm generally in favour of that. You know, when you get in the end zone, look like you've been there before. You don't need Imran Tahir on every wicket.
That is true. I mentioned it in the last test match against New Zealand, but I'm a great fan of the Jim Laker approach. Taken 19 wickets, throw your jumper, throw your sweater over your shoulders, walk off, get in your car and drive home.
Yep.
Oh dear, Mogg I think claimed that wicket. He just tweeted Max ODowd #1 cricketing superpower. It's unfortunate. Armchair Cricket Podcast says the idea of Livingstone running up to bowl a few friendly looking leggies doesn't seem to be paying the same dividends for England in this occasion. Well, he says get Moeen in. Well, there you go. You're both of you gazumped by the action.
Yep.
Livingstone looks quite. What do you think? Andy? Looks. I mean,
good for
okay.
Good for 4 or 5 overs if you want to do that thing that Joe Root used to do, bowl 3 overs in the middle just to make sure you got a little bit of leeway towards the end. I wouldn't make him. I don't think England have any intention of making him your 5th of 5 bowlers, so he has to bowl 10. But he can fill in, and a few. He's probably a little bit more effective in T20 than 50 overs, I would suggest. Anyway.
I think it's a matter of the aggression people show towards him when he first gets in and their capacity to actually hit him off his leg.
Ooh, well, none of that from this batsman. That one zips past the outside edge.
Yeah. I think of him. I was referring to Edwards earlier as Cooper earlier as Edwards, which is my mistake. Because Edwards, of course, has come in now. My mistake.
He is now. Well, he's certainly captain for these 2 games. Whether that was a permanent appointment, I'm not sure. they may take some time to consider that.
I don't think so. I think Peter Seller is the incumbent.
I think he's retired, hasn't he?
Oh, okay.
Didn't he retire after that battering on Monday?
Yes, he did, yeah.
No, well, I'm behind the 8 ball on that one, okay.
Livingstone to completely over, tossed up, played back to him, and it beats him, and Edwards is away with a single. It's 120 for 3 off 25 overs.
So, we're up to date on tweets, but it might be an opportunity to mention that I think we've still got a few minutes to go on the GPL, have we? Or maybe we've just...
Yes, I think we have.
2
5 minutes to go. Yeah.
Excellent. And the pot was somewhere around £130 the last time I looked. So it's well worth getting in. Go to guerrillacricket.com/competition and put in your entry, and you could win 130 odd pounds if you're the one to pick the exact number of runs scored for today, and it helps us in the process, so it's much appreciated. Are we on a break still?
No, it's an over break, but it shouldn't be any longer than that. England just
we can get in some images of some very beautiful Dutch flowers.
Yeah.
Say.
Oh, and Hugo Brett on YouTube says hi. Hello, Hugo. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Hugo.
Rashid is going to continue, and he's going to bowl at the new batsman, who is standing right in front of off stump. And in Rashid, you can't help it. Tempted to bowl it into middle leg, but the batsman does get something on it, and it goes down to backward square leg for a single. He's almost, he is. Certainly his right foot, his right toe is well outside off stump. Scott Edwards there.
I think I saw anything more exaggerated than Lee's in the first innings. I think it was the last Test match or the one before, when he seemed to be standing almost beyond off stump.
Down the wicket, that comes Deleda, but short mid wicket picks it up, and there's no run. Well, it is a bit of a trend. I bat on off stump. I bat with my right toe on off stump. I think it just gets...
It might be interesting for the listeners just to take us through a little bit of the theory about where you take your guard.
Played out to cover for no run. Well, it's interesting because from what I understand, against a leg spinner you would generally do the opposite. You would stand a bit more towards the leg side as the ball is going to be flighted into you and then possibly turn away. But that's what Deleda is doing. He's got his right toe on leg stump, so there's obviously different ways to do it. He's played that one up to long off, and he'll pick up a single. Generally, the idea of standing on off stump is that you've really got a better idea of what to leave. Anything outside your eye line you can just leave, and you can possibly play a bit more aggressively against a ball that's on middle and off, and you can play it out towards leg. But as long as you know where you are in relation to your stumps, that one's played out to backward square and there'll be no run. I know they say know where your stumps are, but the stumps are always in the same place. It's a bit like knowing where the goal is in football. It doesn't move.
More a matter of knowing where you are.
Yes. But that's just terminology, really. Is that one played out for a single to backward square leg?
I suppose you are more vulnerable to, perhaps the faster ball on pitch well up on leg?
Well, yes, but you back yourself to hit it, is the idea. You back yourself, indeed, you tempt the bowler into doing that, and you back yourself to hit it and score off it. That one's played off for a single into the leg side. 4 singles from Rashid, 3 overs for 10 for him.
That over took about 2 minutes, I reckon.
Quite long.
Now, in response to Mog's earlier tweet saying don't just hand over $2, you tight-ass buggers, give them at least 10, Adelaide Barmy says, yes, like us. Adelaide Barmy's, like Mog's, been with us for a very long time, and it's just lovely to have people in our family doing that. So yes, please think of becoming a Patreon, and if you can, by all means, go for the $10. It helps us even more.
Helps us 5 times as much.
Exactly.
Livingstone continues on to leg stump and a little bit uppish from Deleda, but no real issues. Fielder sticks his foot on the ball. No run.
21 off 32 Deleda.
Yeah, he's got to slip in. He backs away from that one, but he only prods it up to long off. It'll be an easy single.
They haven't got they haven't developed the shots that have emerged in one-day cricket over the last few years. I haven't seen any sort of extravagant ramps. Haven't really seen too many reverse sweeps even.
That's the difference. Well, it's a difference. Delayed at 22. Well, there you go. He's heard you. He's gone for the reverse. He's gone for the reverse sweep. There's
a reverse sweep.
I think Backward Point got a hand on it. He did indeed, and covers all the way around, kicks it around. They must have got at least 3 there. But yes, batsman was listening to you and showed you a reverse sweep.
There we are.
3 runs to 40.
Thank you very much. Well, the reverse sweep has, of course, been in the game since at least 1987, when Mike Gatting famously threw away a World Cup to one.
Well, did Dermot Reeve innovate it a bit before that?
Yes, I don't think he was the first Gatting there.
Most notorious, perhaps. Oh, good again from Livingstone.
Sure.
He's beaten Deleda outside off stump. It was actually Edwards with the reverse sweep, which makes a bit more sense. He was possibly a little bit more innovative than Deleda.
I mean, get the ball that Gatting got out.
Well, it was only
almost
impossible. It was only Alan Border.
Yes, it's almost impossible to have got out to that ball. He managed it.
Pushed out for a single, a quickish 2 actually, but they're fairly comfortable. Not the best throw, and Livingstone, I have to say, not behind the stumps, as he should have been on a 2.
Would you say so? You're not a fan of sort of taking
is he in his position in front of the stumps? Possibly, but he wasn't very close to them. Put it that way. No, I know they tend to do that, and I think it is preferred.
It is the preferred orthodoxy these days.
Yes, but I'm talking about more in club cricket, where the bowler stands with his hands on his hips when they run 2, and then doesn't go the 3 yards back to the stumps to pick up the throw.
Anyways, you don't want to break a finger as well.
My captaincy bugbears aside, I think that's the end of the over.
It is.
So Warren asks a technical question. Says Gorilla Cricket with a capital G and a capital C, and at Gorilla Cricket with lowercase. Twitter questions: are there 2 GC radio accounts?
Not to my knowledge.
Just wondering if I've been talking to myself.
I don't think Twitter is case sensitive.
I don't think it is. That's what I was going to say. I just let it auto-complete for me. Neil Harris says, morning Gorillas, hope this ODI is as awesome as the Sri Lanka versus Australia game yesterday. Must have been nerve-wracking for emotionally invested fans. For me it was pure bliss. Yeah, it was nerve-wracking for me. Australia needed 5 from the last ball and failed to do it, but it was a really good game. And
that was interesting from Edwards. He shaped up for the reverse sweep. Rashid bowled it so far down leg. He changed his mind and tried to lap it, but still didn't get anywhere near it. Ended up being a wide. That one's tipped into the leg side, in a more orthodox manner. And did they get through for a single? No. Sent him back. Yeah.
Top ball.
Pushed up to mid-off
again.
Yes, fires at the bowler's end. Still no run. Peter Saylor has gone straight out of the captaincy gig and into the commentary box, which didn't take long.
It's a strange time to retire halfway through an ODI series.
Well, I think he got an injury and he'd just gone for 498, so he actually thought, fuck this, 2 more games. Rashid onto leg stump, and it's played up to short mid-wicket for no run.
He was a good servant to Netherlands cricket, Peter Saylor. 56 matches.
Absolutely.
55 wickets.
Why does Graham Swan spring down?
That one's played out to mid-wicket by Deleda, and there's no run. 132 for 3 in the 28th over. If you're talking about doubling the score after 30, which might be a bit ambitious, maybe look around.
I think so.
It probably is from here. That one's back to the bowler for no run, but maybe they can double it from here and get around 260.
It would certainly not be a disaster if Netherlands were to unexpectedly pull a rabbit out of a hat and there was an English collapse for the sake of world cricket.
Well, they did lose.
261 would suit my GPL pick perfectly.
That one's played up to mid-on, and it's far enough away from Phil Salt that they will scoot through for a single. That was another quick over from Rashid in terms of the time it took him to bowl it. 130 for 3 off 28. Well, England did lose 4 wickets for 29 in a little spell in the middle in that last chase.
Oh, yeah, it's always possible in one-day cricket.
It revived interest, didn't it? Roger Melly says Kepler Wessels had a technique where he stepped towards his off stump as the ball was bowled. It was successful until bowlers began just bowling at his leg stump. Then he was finished. Warren's pointed out that he wasn't just talking about case differences, he was talking about spelling. Definitely get the spelling right. There's only one Gorilla Cricket account.
There's only one Gorilla Cricket.
R, 2 L's in Gorilla.
There's only one Gorilla Cricket. What would they do with 2 of them?
God help us.
Livingstone continues its leg spin barrage from England. That was a little bit short. It's pushed out to deep point, and they'll take a single. I think we've had about. I think my little spell here has been all leg spin.
I think it has, more or less. Well, they've got 3 of them. I don't know whether they're behind on run rates in the series. I know England were fined at the end of the last Test series quite a lot for their run rate, which seemed absurd after the amount of entertainment, to be honest, that was on offer.
You wouldn't expect Malan to bowl, but he did have one over at the end of the first one. That one's pushed out to deep point again for another single.
Netherlands 135 for 3. They're not getting knocked over for under 100 in these matches. They're getting towards 240, 250, 260.
Yeah, but then you've got to. Well, it's a tough one. They don't want to get knocked over. It's going to be very difficult for them to post a genuinely competitive total. I'm not sure 27 or 42, for example, from Deleda is really helping anyone.
Well, it's keeping them scoring a bit. I mean,
yes. I don't think they're capable of risking too much too early.
That's one bounce to Rashid. He fires at either end. Might have worked, but they do get through for a single. It was a little bit of a top edge on a sweep from Edwards, who seems much keener to sweep either way. In fact, he's got an edge and it's flicked off his elbow, I think. It could have gone anywhere. He managed to land it safe. That one is punched out to cover, and there'll be no run. Fired in by Jason Roy.
I mean, Edwards and O'Dowd probably are the best two players, along with Cooper. But their strike rate is around 71, 72, 73. That's the problem.
Just pushed into the gap towards a sweeper. That'll be a single to end the over. England are rattling through these for everyone's benefit. 5 off the over, 138 for 3 off 29.
Armchair Cricket Podcast asked the question, while this ODI simmers nicely, what do we think of both Overton brothers playing in tomorrow's test against New Zealand? Probably it was the Currans who did it last, but not in a test.
I thought one of them knocked the other one out recently, so wouldn't he be?
Yes, indeed.
Wouldn't he be ineligible for concussion reasons?
Apparently not, because he was back on the field later and then got bounced by his brother again.
Yeah, of course.
Talk about sibling rivalry. If you've got a twin brother, try and knock him out, see how you go.
Is that a genuine possibility that Jamie Overton might play?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently.
I understand he's about 10 kilometres an hour faster than his brother too, so it could be a good find for England.
Does that mean Anderson or Broad is missing out?
Anderson is likely to be rested tomorrow.
Okay.
Because the series is already won.
Okay, that one was clipped out to square leg for a single.
And of course, it's also possible that Stokes won't play because he's been unwell.
Swept by Edwards out to deep backward square. It's another single.
I think the latest I heard, I can't remember where I read it, was that Stokes is likely to play.
Oh, good.
Rashid continues. He's got a slip in. Tosses it up again and dropped into the offside, but the fielder is in quickly enough to prevent the run. There's going to be another change at the end of this over.
Yes, and I think Josh has said he's going to struggle. I'm happy to put my hand up to tide over on some ball by ball if required.
We'll figure that out in a second. Down the track comes Deleda, but doesn't do anything with it. Just clips it up to mid-on for no run. Have a look. We're supposed to be... Yeah. Oh, didn't Brian say he wasn't coming back either? Because it says Josh, Brian and the
Brian can't mark it after midday your time, yeah.
Punch.
I've got to take a break, I'm afraid.
Of course, we'll figure it out. That's played up to long off for another single. 142 actually. 142 for 3.
Right, yes. We've got one ball of this spell to go, then we'll have to make some tough decisions.
That's what we're paid the big money for.
That's exactly it.
Played out to log on. It'll be a single. 30 overs are up, 143 for 3, 286 if you double it. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but we'll see. Now, Bear, we've got Josh and Brian, both of whom we think are maybe not here.
Well, I've said that I'm happy to do a bit of ball by ball if it helps. I'm also happy to do something else if it helps. Just let me know.
Do you want to sit? You just did. Who did the ball by ball? You've done ball by ball.
I
I was supposed to do ball by ball to open the show, but Andy took my slot, so I'll.
You do that then.
I'll jump in.
Yeah.
And
You do
you
ball by
stay
ball.
there, and Andy, you can stay there too. And
I'll
then,
do some Twitter or something.
exactly, and then
Okay.
then we're all good.
Sure. I'll do a little summary from time to time. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. You know, we wing everything on this show. It's been a fucking disaster today. I'm stressed as hell, but you know, it always happens.
I suddenly discovered I was meant to be in a meeting when I was in a park walking the dog this afternoon.
Livingston continues, and he comes in and attempted cut by Dawid, but he just goes into the ground. There's no run.
Well, I got into the meeting. I just turned my camera and muted straight away and didn't say anything. So I don't think no one really noticed.
Well, there you go. That's driven up to mid-off, one presumes, or was that a replay? I don't know. I think it was just driven up to mid-off. They immediately went to a segment on where the ball's going from, presumably Adil, Rashid and Livingstone. I don't know. It was the second ball of the over, and it was a single, 144 for 3. It's all going along quite quickly, which is good news. Tossed up this time by Livingstone. Mishit by Edwards. It was aerial for a little while, but went past cover comfortably and out towards long off. They'll get 2. Malan's out there. Everyone's apologising.
Getting a good long spell, Livingstone. Perhaps you can give us your learned opinion of him as a spin bowler when you get time there.
I don't think he's bad as a part timer. That's defended up the track and there's no run. And this was my point in the podcast yesterday. Look, if Owen Morgan's given himself time off today because he's got an injury, so said, I think it's time for. I mean, I've been saying this for a while, but it's time for Morgan to move on. As that is flatter by Livingstone and defended back down the track. There's no run. If Livingstone was a permanent member of the side and you brought Bairstow back in, it'd be a better side than with Morgan in it.
Oh, there's no doubt.
No doubt about
That's
it.
beyond doubt.
That's beyond doubt. And, you know, people have got to realise this. There's no room for sentimentality at the top level of sport, as that's cut out to point and there's no run. And probably Morgan's about a year and a half, 2. I mean, he should have retired after the 2019 World Cup, really. He decided to go on to the T20 World Cup, which was then delayed by another year. So he's probably been going on 2 years longer than he should have done. He's not really done anything. Occasionally he comes out with an innings, but it's about 1 in 15 now, which is no good. It's you know, it's no good for the team. And you've got Livingstone, who's a massive hitter and a decent part-time leggy, to replace him.
Yes.
It's just madness. It really is madness.
More test chat on Twitter. Mog says if Stokes doesn't play, who captains? Flash score cricket commentary. It's only Jamie playing tomorrow. No spot for Craig.
Yeah, bloody hope not. Craig shouldn't be anywhere near a test side. That's reverse swept rather uglily, and you have to wait for it. And he can't beat the man who is it's a new guy, Painter. What's his name?
Payne.
Fucking hell.
Cynthia.
Mr. Prepared here, who is down at short third man.
And it's you don't want to be holding Liam Livingstone back any longer. He's already 28.
No, exactly. And he's a hitter as well, isn't he? I mean, if he gets in, he's amazing. If that's played back to the bowler, there's no one. Even more important in the T20, I'd have said, than the ODI side.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know, everyone's got to be able to plant it into the stands from the off, and he's a man who can. And, you know, we've seen, I mean, Morgan's faced about 5 balls in this series. Really given some air by Adil Rashid, tossed up high, driven by the Leede down to long off, and is a single.
Must be quite nice to be able to go through your repertoire for someone like Rashid against a slightly lesser team like Netherlands.
I think that one was bordering on disrespectful.
Yeah, it was. An awful lot of air. That one's flatter and goes straight on with the arm. Don't know if it was a googly or straight on it. It tries to whip it across the line. Does Edwards gets it down to Ward's long on. Slides back for a second. A lot of dust came up. It's very dry out there.
It's a bit like playing the deep cuts from your early albums, isn't it?
Yeah.
We don't usually play this one. This is the floated ball from out the back of the hand.
Yeah. Man, look at the amount of dust that came up there.
Yeah. Oh, goodness me.
Awful lot. He did dive in a what looks like a used pitch's
more work for the
bowling
groundsman.
crease. Yeah. Well, I presume there's a game this weekend actually for the local side. Dutchburg Cape scores for this lot. Who normally play on this ground.
He's having a little bit of a running repairs for that.
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence also asked who does captain if Stokes doesn't play.
Stuart Broad, most likely, I'd have thought.
Do you think? I think they might just go back to roots. They can just do it for a
Yeah,
game.
really?
Yeah, well, that would seem the obvious thing. Either that or Stuart Broad.
There's no particular benefit for the future in the 36-year-old Stuart Broad doing it.
No,
Oh,
true.
that's a stopgap.
And there's no harm in just going back to the guys. Just
Having said that, Broad would almost certainly be comically hilarious at least at some point.
Yeah, well, at least he'd stay aggressive with the bowling, wouldn't he? I mean, that was one of the things that I really liked about Stokes' captaincy in the first 2 tests. When the ball is new and it's doing something, he's had 5 and 6 slips in there, or 5 slips in a gully. It looks entertaining.
That's a McCullum thing, is it?
Yeah, but it probably is. But I imagine it's Stokesy too. He's a
both of them, yeah.
combative guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Likes to be on the
Just
front
don't believe-
foot.
Just not interested in draws.
Yeah, I don't mind that so much. I'd
No,
rather
do
have
I.
a result.
I don't mind it at all, but they'll get slaughtered when they go for a win and lose, and it'll happen sooner or later.
Well, of course they will. We'll all be moaning at it. Don't worry, Andy. We'll all be having a pop. But
The other guy that was mentioned, I think Josh mentioned him at some point on our chatter, was Folks.
well, that's the outside bet, isn't it? I never mind a keeper as a. That one's down the leg side by Rashid. They'll probably get a wide and a bye. Or did it hit? What's he going to? Yeah, he's going to give it a wide and a bye, so it should be 2. Googly tossed up outside off stump. The Leede slaps it to backward point, and there ain't no run. Yeah, I don't mind folks being captain. I mean, they'll probably be captain by committee of some sort anyway, won't they, when they're out on the field?
Yeah.
And that's usually kind of what happens. Senior pros get together. That's worked into the leg side. Quick single taken. Good one. And they move on to 154 for 3.
Camera just trained very briefly on him, and in an old Soviet football shirt there. I don't know, is that a little bit tasteless? I'm not sure.
I used to have a replica one with CCCP on it. I would wear it in America.
Yeah,
I would wear it in America
exactly.
playing poker to tilt people.
Well, that's exactly what this guy had.
Did it? I bet it did to some of the rednecks, didn't it?
It was actually at one point I thought I probably should. It might be a bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Mog says, well, I don't have to listen to the podcast now, Bear. Leah says, would be funny if Stokes won his first Ashes as captain. See Joe, that's how you win an Ashes series.
Yeah, well,
yeah, quite right. But if we go across with a side that we went across last time, we won't have a hope again.
If the next one's here, isn't it?
Well, the next one is here. We would hope probably to do better in that one, as that's just dropped out into the offside, and there is no run. Much like we haven't won over there since 2010 and 11. I don't think they've won
Which
here.
was an absolute freak and an aberration, and every other series over there has been a complete waste of time.
Slapped in the air through the covers though, and there isn't a cover. There's an extra cover, a bit of a misfield out in the deep by Sammy Curran. They think about 2, but it's not there, and they'll get 1.
Not the first time.
To be fair, Australia haven't won in England since
2002.
No, but it's competitive.
2001.
It's 2-1 or it's 3-1 or it's 2-0. It's not 5-0 every time.
Yeah, true.
They're good series. They're good series.
Yeah, they're good series. Sammy Curran is. Sammy Curran? No, it's Livingstone's bowling. And it's full and it's clipped nicely out towards deep wide long on. They'll get back for 2. The wicket sweeper comes around field.
I'm never quite sure why England and Australia are quite so hopeless. I understand they're likely to lose, but why the wheels always fall off. They don't fall off in South Africa or
no, in South Africa.
Anywhere else.
We kind of win a lot in South Africa, weirdly, don't we?
Yeah.
As that's played out into the covers and there is no run. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the last one was obvious. We just hadn't prepared. We went across in a fucking. It was still in the pandemic.
Yeah, I'm prepared to give that one a little bit of leeway because of the pandemic.
I mean, they probably shouldn't have gone. Any other series they wouldn't have gone.
I mean, I was
right.
kind of hoping it was cancelled. Yeah, exactly. As that's just dropped out to the offside and run for a single. Yeah, I think it was an I mean, we were going to get battered anyway, but I mean, you could see the prep going into it was appalling. You could see that the players were mentally fucked.
Absolutely gone. 17 tests in the pandemic year was insane.
All in a bubble. It was a nightmare. As Livingstone bowls again, and Edwards just knocks it back to him, and there's no run. That's the end of the 33rd over. 159 for 3. Delayed was on 37 or 58. Edwards. 19 off 21, run rate's 4.82, and they're looking at what do we want them to get? 280? Are they going to get there?
They might do.
Ideally, you never know.
Yeah, depends.
It'll kind of depend on wickets, won't it? Really?
Yeah, it depends what they got to come. They got
not much.
They got a new guy next, if I remember. Roger Melly says, speaking of rare football shirts, my prized possession is a Las Vegas Rugby Club jumper that I swapped with a bloke in an airport. And Katie points out that even 10-11 wasn't competitive, it was just the other way round. 3 innings defeats out of 5.
Yeah.
O'Neill Harris says, why doesn't anyone mention Johnny B for captain? I'm going to answer because he's the kind of guy who greets someone by headbutting them.
Yeah, I don't think he'd make a good captain. I don't think he'd want to be captain. There are certain people you think could be... I mean, I'm not even sure Stokes is really wants to be captain. I'm not entirely sure, but
possibly not. It's hard to turn.
I have to say, with 10-11, it was 1-1 at the end of the 3rd test, and Australia had just destroyed England in Perth, and all the talk was, well, all the momentum's with Australia now.
That is true.
Going
that
into
is true.
Melbourne.
We've got to change the bowling here. It's an end to the leg spin for the moment.
Is he a better bowler? Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. His thoughts from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And his beloved eyelids, yes. Sam Curran.
Well, he's going to bowl to the leader, who looks quite young, and just dabs that down behind square on the offside, and there's no run. 38 or 59. It's not lighting the park up, is it?
No, I mean he scored. I think we just saw it come up. He's kind of scored 30 in every game, but none of them particularly quickly.
No.
Well, he's into as we mentioned before. His historical strike rate is 45.9 in ODIs.
Goodness, that is really, really low for a frontline batsman.
It's marginally above that here. It's about over 50. It's probably about 56, 57%. Which isn't great either. As he dabs that one again down to 3rd man, it's a single. He's the kind of player who thinks, well, if I dab a single, 2/3 of the balls, I'm doing all right. If I get a bad one, I'll hit for 4. He doesn't seem to hit the bad one for 4.
That's the trick. You've got to put bad balls away
and be able to stick it in the stands these days as well.
Yep.
Or in this case, in the woods.
Exactly.
Did you see the first game? You won the first game, weren't you?
I saw still pictures of it from home.
Well, I'm hoping this new setup with a more powerful computer here, with it optimised with a better graphics card, that the feed on on the Zoom should be better. That's driven nicely, but out into the deep. They'll think about 2. They're going to come back for 2. There's a bit of a slow pick-up. He got there quickly, but then slow with the release. Was that Brydon Carse, I think, out there on the cover boundary in a single? I've demoted the old Zoom computer share thing to being the audio computer now, but it's more than powerful enough to do that.
Yep.
So the new computer has dropped into this. It's got a better processor. It's newer. Better
that
video
old
card.
one had better keep shaping up, or it'll be demoted to
exactly
holding up a table.
But it's amazing. I mean, as Curran is around a wicket. Now that's pulled and it's gone aerial because the batsman looked up, but it's gone nowhere. It's gone over mid-wicket and dropped into the no man's land. They get back for a quick 2. Good throw in. Good take of the bails by Buttler, but they were well in.
Not particularly impressed by Sam Curran today. He's just been banging everything in short.
Yeah, well, if there's nothing in the pitch and no movement in the air, he's a really average seamer.
Yes.
Just happens to be left arm over. He's all right with a bat, though.
Yeah.
Well, he's a good 8, isn't he?
He's an 8.
Willey's probably a better bat, for my money.
You reckon? I don't
I
think
think
so.
so,
I reckon
yeah.
Sam Curran is a better bat than David Willey. Around the wicket, Curran again short and in the pitch, and this time the leader leaves it. I don't think that was a wide though.
No, that's well bowled, to be fair. He's
well
just put
bowled.
it right in the corner of the strike zone.
Who's that talking with Butch?
Mark Butcher.
That's no O'Brien, isn't
Niall
it?
O'Brien,
Niall
yeah.
O'Brien,
Yeah.
Yes. Good value, Mark Butcher, one of the best commentators.
Oh,
yeah,
possibly,
I like him.
Possibly
He-
the best, yes.
He kind of tried to leave as well. I remember when he left cricket, Sam Curran in, pulled by the leader. It's not very well out deep in the wicket, and it's a single. And he kind of went on his. He tried being a musician, didn't he? And you want to let Josh in. He tried being a musician and all these kinds of things, and eventually he got pulled back in, presumably because it wasn't making any money as a musician. He had some cash and went back into the commentary circuit, really. And he is one of the better ones. I like him.
Andy, do you want to stay on? I'm happy to step down.
No, Josh.
Two of you do it
Let me
with
have
Josh.
a look at the. Yeah, we're both on after the break. No, you can if you stay on, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Josh can come in for me, and one of you do tweets.
Okay. Well, Josh,
I'll do tweet. I'm happy to do tweets if you like.
Okie dokie.
There.
I'm going to swap over to Andy's chair. Hold on. You give us a tweet.
No, I can't because I haven't got it up yet. Hang on.
You all right for me to jump straight back in?
Yes, go ahead, Josh.
So sorry about that.
A meeting?
You keep.
Were you in a meeting?
I did indeed have a meeting. Rashid in, right arm over the wicket to the leader. Pushes the ball gently out towards deepish extra for an ambled single. This game seems to be going absolutely nowhere from what I've been able to see on the live scorecard on CricBuzz. Other websites are available. Any moments of interest so far?
Well, no, it's just rambled along, really. A lot of singles, hardly any boundaries. And
Any boundaries?
if they get 250, 260, 270, I think they'll think, well, we did all right. And I imagine England will bat it off in about 30 overs.
I hope so, because I'm meant to be playing tonight. Rashid in. This time, Edwards looks to play the reverse sweep. Can't get it further than what has become square leg, just for a No, it was a dot ball. Not even off the square. Rashid in again, nice and close to the stumps in the action, and this time Edwards tries to get hold of it, clips it hard and straight, can't quite clear the boundary, does beat the deep long on for 4 runs.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
Not a bad ball that from Rashid, and not an entirely convincing shot from Edwards. It was on the up, he didn't quite get hold of it. Rashid in, is he going to float it up a bit more? No, it's pushed through. This time we had another attempted reverse from Edwards. This time they do take the single, although it squirts out just behind square on the leg side. The Netherlands, after 4 balls of the 35th over, are the score's just gone off the screen. That's highly inconvenient.
Josh,
They're 172 for 3.
Quick word to the wise, Josh, don't mention squirting when the prawn but's around.
Fair point. De Leede this time works the ball out through mid-on for a single. No, sorry, that was a poor thing to be talking about. What other words should we not mention? Rashid in again over the wicket, and this time is worked out on the leg side by the right-handed Edwards for another single, completing the over. 8 off it. The Netherlands 174 for 3 after 35. I need to go to the door for a thing at the end of the over, and I'll leave you in the hands of Ian, who will catch us up on socials.
Yeah, well, I mentioned a back of the hand job in the last test. O'Neill Harris. Why doesn't anyone mention Johnny Bairstow for captain? You guys scared he demotes folks and excludes every batsman who can keep. Leah, I think Bairstow is more enforcer material than captain material. Berserker Johnny, Razor Air de Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Farong, no, this sort of nonsense needs to stop right now before it becomes a scandal. Referring to something else. Mog, geez, Bear, I'm concerned you're going to fuck this new computer when everyone leaves.
Don't talk about fucking computers in front of a porn bar.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I think we're up to date on
I'll get it sorted. I just, everything has its little, foibles. Updated software acts in a slightly different way. You just got to figure out what it, I just need it to start up and do everything I do that it normally did before when I come in the morning. Once I get it to that stage, it'll all be fine.
Scurran continues back of a length and is sort of hooked, not particularly well, by the leader. No, it was Edwards, wasn't it? Right-handed Edwards behind square. Didn't quite get hold of it, just a single there. Takes him on to 27 off 27 balls. Sorry, rushing back to my seat, having answered the post.
Was that the Amazon package? You're going to have to get food, Andy. Yeah, can you get me a...
Scurran again, this time is pushed out through the covers. No, just straight to cover by the leader for a dot ball. He's gone for 30, 29 really off his first 5 has Scurran. It's not a bad set of figures in a one-day international, albeit against an opposition that don't really look like they're getting hold of the ball or threatening to pose a difficult target. Curran in again, stepping wide of the crease as he bowls. Left arm over, there's not quite a shout, more just hands in the air from the wicket-keeper in congratulation of the dot ball, which is what it is.
Are you getting a YouTube message, or just I can do them from here if you like? 40? You're on mute.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah.
No, I've got YouTube up. Okay. There's quite a bit happening actually. Overton chat. I can get onto that in a minute.
Scurran again to bowl the anti-penultimate ball of the over, and this time is pushed, elegantly whipped even through the covers out towards the sweeper. It's fielded with a slight fumble. They'll come back for 2. Can I talk about whipping?
Yeah, you can. Anything you like, man.
Yeah.
Lots of wrist in that shot. I came back for 3. They did. That was good running there. It's not the slowest of outfields, but it is a long boundary.
It is, and that it's not the flattest of outfields either as well. That jump just before it got to the fielder.
Yeah, bit of dialogue here. Jamie Overton is well worth a look according to Pokey Bumfinger. Josh Cooper replies, I read on Crick Info that the player closest to Stokes' skill set was Craig Overton, and I thought that's like comparing a great white shark with a goldfish.
Over the wicket is Scurran to Edwards, who pushes the ball out to point.
I have to agree with that. I mean, that's just, Stokes and Overton, no comparison really. Shameful.
Toothless abroad, says Josh Cooper.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem with him, isn't he? I mean, everyone said, he's put on a yard of pace the other year. And it's bollocks. He's a good county cricket bowler, but he's not a test bowler.
Scurran in over the wicket to complete the over. The right-handed De Leede pushes the ball out towards backward point for a single. End of the over, 36 of them. The Netherlands are scoring at a run rate of exactly 5. They are 180 for the loss of those 3 wickets. 36 down, 180 for 3. How are we doing on those socials? Many more to get through.
Leah, come on Netherlands, lick 'em good. Vengeance for Scheveningen. Scheveningen?
Scheveningen.
Sure.
I know the only thing I know. Andy Ward will have to join me on this. The only thing I know about Scheveningen is it's a variation of the Sicilian defence that Gary Kasparov was particularly keen to play. He'd often transpose into it from the Najdorf.
Yeah, well, I couldn't agree more with that. GC Radio Naked has come up with a tweet so disgusting that I'm not even sure I'll be happy to read that one out. Words that
would you want to read it unhappily, Ian?
Honestly. Does someone else want to read that tweet?
Let me have a look. Let me have a look. I'll get it up. Who is it from? No, we're not.
GC Radio.
Well, he would suggest we can't shit, piss, fuck. Those are words. The next word, no. Cocksucker, motherfucker. I'm happy with that. And tits. Yeah, you know.
I think it was the middle word that put me off.
Well, yes.
Was it Bradman?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I've broken a rule myself when describing Boris Johnson. So you know.
A pokey bum finger does also.
Mogg used it to describe Rees Mogg and was read out by Ant Condon a few years back, and on the grounds that it was a perfectly legitimate Australian word.
Exactly. And when it refers to Jacob Rees-Mogg, I think it's absolutely legitimate.
Slightly more laterally, pokey bum finger suggests squirting, helmets, creases, good fists. There's so many touchy areas.
Wow.
I can answer Roger Melly though. The word for the fourth last is the pre-anti-penultimate.
Isn't it easier just to say the second ball of the over there?
It is. Although that would be the fifth last, which would be the pro pre-anti-penultimate.
Yeah.
Poxy fucking English lecturers, I don't know.
Good use of words. They're only syllables. They're only words that are useful in counting syllables in linguistics, where frequently there is a degree of emphasis or not placed on syllables based not on.
Well, look,
like haiku
through the word, but how far the no.
I like it
in words rather than in words. So, for example, rather than in lines of poetry, so that certain words will have an accent on the penultimate syllable or on the anti-penultimate syllable, or very occasionally on the pre-anti-penultimate syllable.
On these iambics, dactyls. I like it when Alan Partridge says, it makes me laugh when people say BW. It actually takes longer to say than Volkswagen.
Yeah, I mean, how much radio and broadcast in general time is wasted saying the letters WWW?
Wow.
If only.
Well, they don't do it anymore, do they? You just go to.
Nah, no one bothers anymore.
No.
Roger Melly, righto, who's the smart arse that used the word anti-penultimate? Bet you don't know the word for full. Oh, we've had that, have we? Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, I was replying to it and looking for the.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's a bloody English lecturer in a university. What do you expect?
Mogg says Australia is, of course, the place where you call your mate Bradman and some Bradman mate. Fill in your own Bradman there. Muttley von Ebick, woof, afternoon primates, long time no see, listen. I think see you next Tuesday is a perfectly acceptable and perfect adjective. Love and sausages. Kiss, kiss.
It's a noun.
Actually, it appears in Shakespeare without the enemy. These be her very C's, her U's and her T's.
And thus makes her great...
Thus makes she her great P's, which is in Twelfth Night.
It is in Twelfth Night. It's Malvolio reading the forged letter, isn't it?
That is correct.
There's also, it occurs every now and again in Chaucer, where he grabbed by the quaint.
He's a bawdy old backer, was Chaucer, wasn't he?
Some of his characters certainly were. Rashid is going to continue from whichever end this is. I don't even know the names of the ends of this ground, let alone which one this is. Over the wicket to the right-handed Leede. Can't get the ball past the short mid-off. No run.
Right, I'm going under. I finally got settled enough to actually look at the betting site.
Under for the next wicket?
No, under for the 273 bookies have got the Netherlands score. I reckon that under that.
Rashid in again, really close to the stumps in that delivery stride. This time the ball is worked out past the short mid-on, but no.
That's his 50, is it?
Straightish mid-wicket. One run brings up to Leeder's 50. He's got there off 71 balls. That's far too slow to make this game any interest, but nonetheless an achievement.
Well,
in 71 balls, I'm going to give him a jingle anyway. He needs to step on now if he's going to get anywhere with any.
He does, but you know, Jonathan Trott used to get 100 off 80 in ODIs, and we used to say, well, that's his role in the team.
Yeah, but that's 100 off 80, not 50 off 70, as Edwards pushes the ball again out into
and they were actually
side, where it's fielded by the short mid-on, no run.
Jason, hello. Yeah, that was also when England were really shit at ODIs and living in the past.
Rashid in again. This time Edwards gets down on one knee, can't quite get hold of it, but nor can the short fine out there on the 45-2. Adil Rashid, no run.
Oh, am I right?
We wouldn't be. Thing is, guys, we wouldn't be complaining if Rotherham were finding it difficult to beat Arsenal. So, is it a bit unfair to say, "Come on, Netherlands"?
No, No, not really. The sad thing is, no, not really the sad thing.
Rashid in, pushed back down the track by the leader, no run.
It's that we have to cover them. No.
I mean, we don't have to.
We didn't have to, it's true.
We could have chosen not to.
We could have chosen not to,
but then we might have missed something like, was it 2018 where Scotland beat England?
Yeah. Well, we missed the first ODI, which is a world record.
Yeah.
And again, Rashid in and is pushed out once again to a short mid-on. Very well placed there for another dot ball. Just 2 off the over. The Netherlands 182 for 3 off 37. What did you go under, Bear?
273.5.
Oh, I think they'll get that. I think they'll get 295 or so.
You reckon? I don't think they will.
Do.
I think they'll lose a wicket at some point soon, and it'll all go tits up.
Lose a wicket, but then that'll bring maybe some slightly quicker scorers to the crease.
Doubt
I don't know.
Mog says, where does properoxetone come into, Josh? Mutley Von Erich, also if they are a complete brat, and then it's see you next Tuesday and Thursday, otherwise only Tuesday, it's just a bit of a twat. GC Radio Naked, I can probably read these. Slot cock balls, then slapping and felching, thanks very much. Mog, I think that's the latest first ODI 50, I should check.
It is.
And it is indeed, so congratulations to him.
Oh, properoxetonic, lovely word there, as Carse is back into the attack and is worked out by Edwards towards longish leg for a single. Did they not come back for 2 there? No, they did not.
What does that actually mean, pro whatever it was?
Again, it's about where syllables are in the relation to the final syllable of the word, often used in terms of so-called masculine and feminine rhyme.
All right, Josh. What is the Greek-derived word which means rhyming? Come on.
As this time, the leader works the ball out through the offside to the cover boundary sweeper for a single. The Greek word derived for rhyming. Good question.
Homoioteuton.
Ah, yes. Yes, sounding similar.
Oh, looks like
he has overstepped.
He's overstepped. We got one of these.
Over the line! Huh? I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
No, one of these.
And the free hit is hoiked a long way up in the air. Or has he just missed it? He's just missed the fucker.
He's just missed it. He's giving it the heads up, give it a slap.
I think he was through the shot before the ball got to him. It was a nice bit of extra bounce there. Lovely back of the length, slower ball from the bowler. Nice recovery there from that no ball, which wasn't even over the line. It was off the line.
They always seem to miss the free hit there.
Indeed. Carse in again, close to the stumps. There's a muted shout. It was nowhere near. It was maybe jagged back a bit, but was going well over the stumps.
Got to say, I kind of liked.
I
liked Brydon Carse when I saw him against Pakistan last year, and I still.
You know what? That might not be such a bad shout unless there was a hint of inside edge on it.
No, it was face of the bat.
Was it? Yeah. My bad. Watching on your Zoom feed
Zoom feed's better today. The Zoom feed leaving here is actually pretty good today.
Carse in again over the wicket to Edwards. This time he can get the ball away. He can't beat the deep mid wicket, who fields nicely as the batters come back for 2 runs, 4 so far off the over.
He bowls a bit like one of the South Africans, and I can't remember which one.
He bowls a bit like one of the South Africans.
Brydon Carse does.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
One of the current crop of South Africans?
Yeah, he kind of
recent, anyway.
It's a little bit like Morkel.
Bowls a bit like someone else who has played cricket in the last 25 years.
Cheeky bar.
Well, look, if you want a better standard of summarising, go to.
There's a skied top edge by Edwards down to long leg, where the fielder it was David Malan, couldn't quite make his ground to catch it.
He made his ground. He spilled it. It was low down. He had to make a lot of ground, and I imagine it was swirling a lot, and he had to get there pretty quick.
I think he wasn't quite in the right position. I
No.
know. Yeah,
Well,
he was
he was,
falling over
yeah.
to his left.
He should have caught it, actually.
Probably
evidently.
should at this level, should catch those, but that's a sunny day in the Netherlands. England expected to win. Everyone's on
Will
holiday.
have no bearing whatsoever on the result of this match, unless it's going to be a very interesting one, as this time Edwards pushes the ball out again to the cover sweeper for a single. He pinches the strike. 190 for 3 is the score after 38 overs, and I will hand over to the Bear, who will doubtless elucidate as to the state of the game.
Well, 40 give us some tweets.
I will do. O'Neill Harris on Guerrilla Cricket Radio. I learn about drudge slang, cricket history, and the occasional advertising, porn slang, and an English lecture. Love the diversity, since we all love cricket. Thanks very much, O'Neill Harris.
Indeed.
Motley Von Erich, whilst Josh is correct in that it is a noun technically, I also consider it an adjective, as I'm generally using it to describe a person and or their actions/views. And O'Neill Harris, Mr.
That's not how adjectives. That's not. I mean, if I call someone a
I'll just
bastard,
finish up with O'Neill.
that doesn't make bastard an adjective.
I'll just finish up. And O'Neill Harris, Mr. Pucker, is that a noun or adjective?
Who cares? My kids come home. I mean, this is the thing. They teach English now, and everything's about bloody technicalities of English. It's like, when I speak the language, I don't need to know what all this shit is.
Oh
It
God,
comes out of my
fronted
mouth.
adverbials.
Yeah, fucking all this shit. It's like, what the fuck are you on about? And then they give you an
Synthetic
example. It's go,
synthetic,
oh, right, that. You know, it's just like, I speak.
Synthetic phonics.
It's all synthetic
Yeah,
phonics
I don't like
now,
phonics.
isn't it?
Phonics makes them. They come out with these words and go, "What are you saying?" It's because they got the phonics, and it's just not right.
Payne, left arm, over the wicket to Edwards, who pushes the ball out to the short mid-on for no run.
Don't get my wife started on synthetic phonics, Bear. She's a speech therapist, and she absolutely adores synthetic.
I was going to say, my understanding is there's actually quite a good evidence base for the use of synthetic
Well, there
phonics
is, but
when it comes to-
they say things to me. They say to me, and they got, because the phonics says it's that, and it's actually, you know, a weird way that as English is pronounced, it's not said that way. It's just like, what are you on about?
Payne again, close to the stumps. This time Edwards looks to hoik. He can't do better than push the ball out through square leg. There's a nice bit of running. The batter's come back for 2. A more accurate throw to the other end might possibly have been close, as it was. It went to the wicketkeeper's end, and Payne was comfortably back. There's a lovely. I mean, English is weirdly, I think, possibly uniquely irrational in its spellings. There's a lovely poem.
Well, that's because
made up at NATO headquarters. Payne
actually, no, that's
again
'cause it's
over
got
the wicket, and this time Edwards lets the bouncer go straight through to the wicketkeeper. No run.
Well, I guess that's because it's an island at the end of edge of a continent that has had so many waves of invasion over 2,000 years, all of whom brought their own language. You know, the Anglo-Saxons, the Normans, the Norman English, the Bretons before that, and then we've had the
Picts, the Welsh,
the
the Cornish,
Picts and the Welsh, and then we've had all the Romance languages which arrived during the Renaissance. So
another bouncer there from Edwards.
Well, interestingly, both of those balls have not been given as wide, and the second one I wouldn't have said it was wide. The first one in ODI cricket, I thought we were doing a wide, but it was given as a dot ball.
Passed in front of his sort of jawbone, didn't it?
What?
I guess it's
this one.
The first one.
No, I wouldn't have said that. No, that's not a wide. That didn't go over his head.
Not a wide.
But the first one.
I don't think either of them went
side.
over his head. I thought the first one was lower than the second.
Yeah, no, but the first one was down leg side and kind of. He went to pull it, and it was inside it.
Oh, of course, he pulled out on line, didn't he? And this time it's pushed out to shortish mid-on for once again no run. Yes, no, you're right there. Sorry, Ben.
I think properoxetone might be going over some people's heads, to be fair.
Well, yeah, it went over mine a long time ago. Don't trouble me with this shit, you know what I mean? No, what I would say is that, you know, anything can happen in ODI. If Netherlands post a score, England lose a couple of early wickets, it could get quite tight, quite interesting.
Runs on the board.
Ooh, there's a mix-up here. It's pushed out to short extra. He's looking for the run. It's definitely not on. He's sent back. He gets back safely. Completes the over. A nice one by Payne. Just the 2 runs off it. Those possibly should have had a wide. Slightly unfair on the batters, but it's a judgment call. And like it or not, it's the one the umpire made. 39 overs down. 192 for 3. What say our listeners over on the Twitters?
They saith, Motley Von Erich, what is CUNTY behaviour then? Well, I mean, look
being
no
Prime
further
Minister
than
of this
people
country would be one.
People look
Add
no
a
further
Y
than
to
the
it
people who are
and it
running the
becomes an
country.
adjective.
Yeah.
Being any member of the
Mom.
cabinet in this country.
Yes. Mom,
Add a Y to it, it becomes an adjective.
Yeah.
Mom, for all your minutiae of language, it's tune into Gorilla Cricket.
Carse is pulled by the leader down to the long leg boundary for 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
I was getting onboarded at a place I was working with recently, and they said, watch out for people. Yeah, watch out for people fishing. And said that one way you can spot if people are trying to get your data off you is if there's a spelling mistake. So I looked through the entire deck and found a spelling mistake and replied to them, it's a trap, isn't it? You're trying to trap me. They didn't find that very funny.
Carse again into the leader, who this time plays a weirdly half-hearted shot out to the shortish mid-wicket.
I think it was a bit too full. I think he thought it was going to be shorter. He was going to pull it.
No run. Yeah, it looked a bit like the bouncer he pulled out of in the previous over. I think he might have been in two minds about whether it was going leg side, whether to pull out of it, decided it wasn't, didn't get hold of it at all. Anyway, dot ball, it was.
Would have hit him in a
96.
knack as if he had left it.
Yeah, if it hits you, it ain't a dot, it ain't a wide. As this time he goes offside-ish, not very well. I'm going to use that word again, squirts out behind point for a single, 197 for 3. Are we going to bring up the 200 during this over? We ought to.
Well, maybe. Oh, they're only going along at 4.99, hovering around 5.
What can I go under on for the end of...
What did I say? I went under 273.5, didn't I?
273.5, I think it was. I think they're going to beat that.
Oh, I don't know.
Carse in again over the wicket to the right-handed Edwards, who steps back, plays a cross-batted swish straight down the wicket off a no ball for 5 no balls.
Huh? I'm sorry, Smokey. You were over the line. That's a foul.
That's a poor ball.
Interesting shot. He was a bit late on it, and
Not entirely surprising when it's kind of chest high.
Chest high no ball indeed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the straightest cross-batted pull I've ever seen. Went straight through long on. Free hit, here we are.
Missed.
This time it is missed once again, doesn't quite get hold of it, and dribbles out towards the wicket-keeper for a dot ball. It's nice bowling off the no ball by Carse once again.
Yeah,
Touch of under edge, I think. Oh, no, he missed it entirely.
Missed it completely.
Kept low and he missed it.
They just
nice variation.
No balls that kind of lift their head and just give it a big swish, don't they? Which these days the bowler's quite wise to.
Yeah. 2 balls left in this, the 40th over. The Netherlands 202 for 3. Carse in this time is carved out towards the 3rd man boundary, where there is a fielder. 1 run off it. The Bear, I'm told to ask if Jason is visible in the waiting room, and if so, could you let him?
Jason is not visible in the waiting room, because Jason has made it into the studio.
Jason's made it into the studio. Is he outside the front door?
No, he's sitting in a chair next to me.
Hello, Jason.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
And me.
Hello.
Carse in to complete his over, the 40th, and my stint probably for the day. It's hooked top edgishly, and there's a catch this time, I think, by Adil Rashid.
Yep.
Lovely bit of work there. I think it might have been out of the sun again. He ended up rolling some sort of somersault as he took hold of the ball, but that is that wicket. 203 for 4 after the 40th. That's probably me done for the day, because unless I've misread the schedule completely, my next stint is in the last 10 overs of the England innings, which I don't think are going to take place.
They may not do.
Goodbye from me, and thank you all for your company.
Indeed,
and
Messi,
Mötley Von Erich with the photo is the first.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to play a jingle to say goodbye to that man.
The crowd says, you're out.
Yeah, the crowd says you're out. And they're right. Hello again, Jesse. Messi even. Jesse.
You've done that to me before. Oh, dear. So,
and hello to you, Jace.
I mean,
Hello, Mrs.
Hello, Jason. Yeah, for all the decrying of a low run rate, I actually think that the Netherlands have done pretty well to get to where they are. It's a platform where they could reach 270, 280.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping they get under 273.5, obviously, Messi. But if they got to 272,
my GPR.
Well, if they get to 272, I'll be reasonably happy. In an ODI, people can make mistakes. You still got to get to 270 runs. England will probably chase it half and the off. They never do anything else, do they? They'll lose a couple of wickets. Pressure could be imposed on them, but wicket doesn't look particularly troubling. And you wouldn't imagine it being much of a
particularly quick,
trouble.
despite the fact
No.
I think it's a new wicket, is it not?
Yeah, it's a new wicket. They said it's slower than the last one. It's taken a bit of spin. I'm surprised that Moeen didn't bowl, to be honest. Maybe they think it's just because his right-handers in, they'll just try and swipe him across the line, and they've gone for Livingstone as a part-timer as well. Yeah, and I imagine the sun has moved because Livingstone dropped that about an hour and a half ago, so probably wasn't in the eye line of Adil Rashid so much.
Not very much of an excuse for Dawid Malan, though.
No. He was on the run, though, wasn't he? I mean, he was on the run, he had to get there. But hey. Payne is going to continue, and we have a new Netherlands batter, and I've got to find his jingle. It's this man.
What will you do when faced with Teja, Nidamanuru? You'll shit yourself and run. That's what you'll do.
Okay. I don't know much about him. Now, okay. He's just being informed. I thought he was going to go, there's no ball, and they were going to bring back the man.
No, it's the last power play.
Last power play. 10 overs to go. And Payne, who's got 4 left, is going to continue. He's going to bowl at the new man, Nidamanuru, who's on his pads and his first run. Is this his debut? As it's clipped out too deep, pack a square leg and no run.
I don't think it is. I think he played last year in that replacements 11.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. He certainly was in that squad.
I could look him up, couldn't I?
I've seen him play a number of times for Gloucester. It's quite odd seeing him in the flesh versus seeing him on TV. He looks to have a much slower run up on the TV.
Who? Payne?
Yeah, when he's actually quite...
Yeah, he's just ambling in, isn't it? It's all in the arm. He's got wiry. It's tall, though. That's just defended square on the offside out to, I think, Livingstone at backward point. There's no run, probably Roy, actually.
I get the feeling, actually, that he's assessed the pitch and thought, there's no point in bending my back on this. There's not a lot going to happen on it, so I'll just amble in and wang it with the body action.
Yeah, which would be fair enough. He comes in third ball to the over, short, pulled, down to long leg, where Moeen is fielding. Surprised he hasn't a bolt, as I said, but he fields that one and there's no run. I had to check that he was on the team sheet because he hadn't bowled, and Livingstone had bowled first.
Yeah, just looking at that one, 77 miles an hour. Payne is capable of the high 80s, in fact, possibly even low 90s at his best, so he's clearly bowling within himself on this pitch.
That's pulled by Nidamanuru to mid-wicket. There's no run. This is his 4th ODI. I don't know if it's including this one. It says 4 on here. I don't know if they're including this one.
I think that's 3 last year and this one.
Okay. High score 58 not out. Average 32.66. Strike rate 98.98. So not bad. Strike rates in T20s is 150, and that's kind of the innings he needs to be playing right now. So that's Payne. Another slower ball, it would seem. Full and just defended out to the covers, and there's no run.
Oh, you're referring to Nidamanuru, aren't you?
Huh?
You were referring to the batsman Nidamanuru rather than Payne
yes.
bowler. Yes, he's played the last match and possibly a couple of others, but I don't think he played the first match in this series.
No, he didn't play the first match. He didn't play in the last one, did he?
Yes, he did.
Did he? Okay. I didn't watch much of it on Sunday. Payne. It was Father's Day. I was doing stuff with the family. Worked around a corner. I think about 2. But it's not. Edwards gets a single off the last ball and retains the strike. We've got any messages there?
We have indeed. Muttley says he sent us a picture, and I'll tell you what it is in a second. On another note, for those that don't have me on Facebook or Instagram, this happened yesterday, and it's a photo of Muttley sitting in his wheelchair holding what I'm pretty sure is a certificate of British citizenship.
Well
so
done.
congratulations, Muttley, on becoming a real pot.
Yeah.
So all I can say to that is woof.
Yeah, woof woof. Mind you, the country's going down a shit hole, isn't it, Jason?
Not because of you coming on board, though.
No.
Muttley, rest assured.
Wrong time
Leah
to join,
says Leah says, as we now have a porn bot, when do we get the OnlyFans account we so vehemently demand? I've got to say, don't hold your breath, Leah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. Well, as I said, everyone has peccadillos, man. That one is driven up to mid-off. They don't get a single. Edwards remains on 44 or 49.
Discord is as close as you're going to get.
Yeah. And of course, you only get Discord if you enter into the if you become a patron. It's patron only. You can talk to your fellow patrons to your heart's content on various subjects, as a lot of you do. Carse coming in, second ball of his 8th over. There's Edwards, who guides it once more down a third man. And they'll get themselves a single.
Oh, Jesus.
He's into the body art with the full
full sleeve.
The full Dernback sleeve.
Yeah. Scott Edwards has batted well in this series, isn't he? 72, 78, 45. He's not out now. 72 not out in the first game.
Yes, I think must be his bringing up in Australia that's done that.
Yeah, I'd have thought so. Does he play over here in county cricket?
No, I think he's only just moved over to the Netherlands, I think.
Oh, okay. Ooh, now there's an appeal from Carse. That one seems to cut Nidamanuru in half.
That's straight off the groin protector, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Over out of the back leg. It certainly beat the inside edge of the bat. There's a half appeal by Buttler, but there's no thought of reviewing it. 208 for 4 and a 42nd over.
I take it Buttler is today's captain.
Buttler is today's captain, yes. Who do you think is going to be captain tomorrow?
That's a good question. If Stokes is fit, then he'll be captain. If he's not fit...
I thought they'd already ruled him out, hadn't they, today?
After this ball.
Yeah, as that one again comes back into Nidamanuru. He doesn't play with a particularly straight back. His inside edge goes over the stumps, or the leg side of the stumps down towards long leg, getting himself a single.
No, I've been out and about this morning. The only thing I've seen so far is that Jamie Overton is replacing Anderson.
Yes, we all think that's going to be the case. That's going to be quite.
No, that's on the BBC website.
Oh right, okay. So
I think that's official now.
Yeah, it is. And Stokes training today, so I hope.
Okay. Because he said that what I saw was he was ill, but he tested negative for COVID. Pulled by Edwards down towards deep back with square leg. It'll just be the one. They're going to come back for 2. That's good running.
I mean, they could go back to Root for one game. There's Broad as a possibility.
I think Root would tell him to take it and shove it.
Well, I don't think Root would mind. I think Root might even take on from Stokes.
He's loving not being skipper.
I think he's loving not being sticker. And if he knew it wasn't permanent, it's just a one game to fill in for his mate.
But no, apart from that, you are scratching around a bit.
Yeah, Carse in again. It's full and just worked into the leg side again. They're going to look for 2. This time it's only gone out to Adil Rashid at square leg, who realised he's not going to challenge the stumps for a throw, and they get through for a comfortable 2 to end the over. 213 for 4, 42.
Any member of cabinet, regarding my last tweet with the citizenship, there is a lovely picture of Priti Patel in that folder I'm holding. Welcome me to the country.
Oh,
it's
Priti Patel is evil. She is a witch.
Oh yes. She really. Oh, God help us.
I know.
God help us.
Well, then the entire cabinet.
Don't get me going.
No, don't get me going as well. I'm fucking sick of it.
Well, you're in a nice position, Messi. You've got out of your problems in Australia with.
Well, exactly. You got rid of ScoMo.
Well, yeah, it's a huge improvement. The relief is manifest. It really is.
Well, we
got lying, incompetent government.
Well,
we're
exactly.
paying the price.
Well, same here. But we got another 2 years to wait before we can fucking vote them out, unless Tory party do the right thing and get rid of the arse and fucking change the cabinet. Oh, now that's got to be close. There's a big appeal for ODW. How is that not out? I'd review that. I think that went straight on. I think that's, yeah, it's got to be worth a review. I don't think we've used one yet. There's a big loopy. Was it a googly or was it just a top spinner?
I think it was a googly.
I think it was a googly, but it didn't seem to go far.
I think it might be height rather than anything else is saving.
I don't think this pitch is that bouncy. I don't think that's going over. He's had a big
I think
swipe
he might
at
have got an inside edge onto the pad because
I think it missed.
Turned a huge amount.
I think it just went straight on and he just didn't pick it. And
because if it went straight on, it would have hit him outside off.
No, because it's a googly. Let's have a look. Big swish. I don't think he did. He hit the ground. I think that's out. If he hasn't got any bat on that, I think that's out. It's hit him in front of middle and off.
Yeah, it's hit him on the roll. It's hit him on the roll, but it's on the back leg, and he's leaning forward.
Oh yeah. I'll give you that.
Well, we'll have a look. It'll all depend whether he's got an inside edge, but his bat hit the ground, no doubt about it. Umpire didn't give him out, so Nidamanuru is a bit confused. He's going, what? It's taking him forever to wind stuff up. Here we go. Ultra edge. Hits the ground, so you can't really tell. Comes in. And then there's nothing on the back.
Oh, it has got an edge.
No, there's no contact. There's no that's still the residual from the hitting the ground.
Yeah, exactly. There you can see. Oh, no, you can't. Fuck off. His third umpire was shit. One. No, there wasn't a second one. That was the end of the thing.
There was a second one.
No, there wasn't. No. And you could see bloody space between the bat and the ball. It's terrible. Anyway, fuck it. Who cares?
I just watched it again. There definitely was a second one.
No.
Definitely.
Rubbish. Messi, you're talking nonsense. Anyway, it's not been given out.
Rashid doesn't look impressed.
No, Rashid is not impressed, and I'm not surprised. I don't think that was very impressive from the third umpire. I don't know who the third umpire is today.
Is that our one and only review gone?
Have we only got one review?
No, you get two reviews still.
Get two reviews still. I think it's a home umpire, isn't it? They're driven out to cover and there's no run.
That's a good question, because actually they've had Rifle as one of the umpires. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a true. Well, yeah, maybe the problem is, I guess, maybe as that is worked into the leg side, out too deep near wicket. It might be actually because it's ICC sanctioned and it's for points for the thing. They have to have two neutral umpires, and maybe the Holland don't have a panel umpire, so they can't have a home umpire.
Yeah,
I don't think that's hit the bat. I think he's just hit the ground. It's gone into that
yes,
bat
it
pad.
Has. It's definitely hit the bat.
Yeah, it's definitely hit the pad. It's not hit the bat. He's dropped that down in the offside. And Buttler comes from behind the stumps to field it. And there is no run.
He's tried to cut a scuttler there. That one's got no power in it whatsoever. And it's got maybe 3 yards away from the bat.
Something like that. Adil Rashid tosses that one up. It's just dropped into the offside. They'll get themselves a single.
Nidamanuru's got to get on with this. He's eating up balls here when they don't have really that much time left to play. I mean, Edwards is doing his stuff with 50 or 54. Nidamanuru is okay. It's a slow start. He's only striking up 50% at the moment. 50 runs, 100 balls, but no, he can't strike that like that for very long at all.
No. Oh, and that's stumping though. Adil Rashid floats that one up outside off stump, and Nidamanuru comes down. The LBW is not really going to account for much because he came down, good flight, bit of turn, completely baffled Nidamanuru, who was nowhere near playing a shot, beat his outside edge, and Buttler had the easiest of stumpings. Don't see that often from Buttler, but he couldn't really miss that one, and so we have to give the batsman an out.
So get on your bike and take a hike right out of here.
And that's all due to scoreboard pressure. Trying to set a score when you're not scoring any runs.
Yep.
Yeah, indeed.
Mogg was woken up by your mention of our previous Prime Minister. He says, in capitals, he says, invoke not the name of the pure Bradman that recently ruled this flat wide brown land. And Spicy Golden Duck is with us. He says, "Good afternoon, Gorillas. Thanks for the commentary. I particularly enjoyed the contributions from the porn bot and the cunning linguists."
Ah, indeed. Thank you very much.
There's been a lot of linguistic action during this
There
series.
has. Well, of course, when you get a bloody English literature professor on, don't you? You're bound to get this sort of shit going.
And Mog, who's done his degree in linguistics. Yeah.
Not sure
a
Josh
lot of
would,
it around.
I'm not sure which sort of linguistics we're talking about with Mog.
I'm not sure Josh would like to be characterised as English for starters.
Well,
Ooh.
was he born in Wales though? Is he English? He certainly sounds very English. Doesn't
He
have a
did
very
most
Welsh
of
accent.
he did most of his 74 degrees in England, I think.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a change in the bowling. How many have we got left? 4? Sorry, 7. 7 overs left. This man's coming in. Don't know if he's going to close it out. But it is...
You think the people would have had enough of Willey and Angels? His name's Willey.
And his first ball is across Edwards. And it goes through to Buttler and there's no run. He's not had a lot of strike recently, has he, Edwards? It doesn't feel like it. Been watching a lot of Nidamanuru playing dot balls and missing. Ooh. Close the window. Open. There we go. Sorry about that. Had to quickly close the window. Willey is back in. That one is jabbed by Edwards down towards the third man. We fielded for a single.
If this series is about finding out which left-arm bowlers are appropriate for England to further invest in, I don't understand why they've gone back to Willey necessarily, because he's a known quantity.
He is a known quantity, and he's just not quite good enough, is he? In another era, he'd get a lot of gains, but in this one,
he's not quite fast enough.
No, he's not quite fast enough,
and it doesn't move the ball quite often enough.
No. That's what I mean. I think for the T20s, where there's often a little bit swing for 2 overs, you kind of get away with him. Advances down a track does Van Beek, as he's a new Netherlands batsman, and he nearly yorks himself as it goes along the ground out to cover, and there's no run. I will find a jingle for Van Beek. It goes like this.
Van Beek, I know what you're bowling. It's a hard cricket ball, so don't hit me 'cause it hurts. No.
Again, he advances down the track and misses it once more. It goes through to the keeper and there's no run.
Good ball there from Willey. He moved that one just slightly away. He's been trying to shape them in, and that one held its line, or if anything went across the batsman, and Van Beek didn't get very close to it whilst he's still trying to get his eyes in and see the ball.
Yeah, sorry, I am just trying to do something. That's gone up in the air. It's been caught at mid-off, Van Beek. I didn't see what shot was that, Jason. Was that an attempted pull?
Just like it stopped in the pitch on him, and he just was threw it a bit too early.
And yep, another wicket goes. And to send him off, I'm going to finally play the correct pronunciation of his jingle to send him off.
Coming up next is a Kiwi Dutch man. Van Beek, he'll bet him bowl. Van Beek, he'll bet him bowl. Van Beek, he'll bet him bowl.
Van Beek, rattle and roll.
Yeah. Well,
Who was that one?
That was Mog. No, that was Richard Peel. Sorry.
I was going to say it didn't sound like Mog or Perko. Yeah. Thank you, Richard.
That's okay. Fuck it. I'm
anyway,
confused.
Van Beek's
Today's one of those days.
Van Beek's very short stay at the crease has been ended.
Yep.
And we're going to have a new man at the crease.
We are. Who is it going to be?
It's not one of the county players. It's Pringle, I do believe.
Tim.
Oh, well, yes. The second game.
Left armour, flat darts on it. That's defended by Edwards up to mid-off once more, and there's no run.
got the two set batsmen who made 70 out, Salt and Roy. Kept it relatively tidy.
I like the fact that he wears glasses. Yeah, I see what he was trying to work on the leg side leading edge, wasn't it? Up to, just looped up to Adil Rashid at mid-off. When you come back to left armers, Payne looks the best of the lot, doesn't he, really? I mean, Sammy Curran doesn't look up to it at the moment.
Yes, he's a bit... Well, his batting's been doing most of the damage for Surrey this year. His bowling is always going to be off. I think that's the way that his career is going to progress long term. I think we can definitely see him as a
batting all-rounder.
Yes.
That one turns Adil Rashid bowling his last over. It's just defended by Pringle. Comes off the outside edge. There's a slip in. Beats them, goes to the short third man, and there is a single. Didn't really know much about it. It's a good length ball from Adil Rashid, probing that length, drawing him forward. Second ball of the over sits up. That's fairly foolish, but Edwards is in now, and he just sits back, cuts it out to cover. And there's no run. The thing is, they want to get Edwards on strike, don't they? But the others don't seem to be able to rotate the strike. That's one of the problems they've got here. The rotation is not great. If you can't hit a 4, you've got to rotate the strike in ODI cricket. Adil Rashid is in. That one goes straight on, and he managed to just play it with soft hands down towards long leg. The man is out for the sweep, presumably. So has to come in and get it, and it'll only be one run.
Yeah, I think that's one thing where those players that have played in county cricket, like Klaassen, etc., know what's expected of them, how to get there.
Yeah. Edwards clips that nicely out towards deep mid wicket. They think about a second, but it's not there. As Willey comes in.
And it's good to see Klaassen in the side today, and I think Van Meekeren wasn't in the side in the previous games, but they're still missing Rolf van der Merwe, who played at Surrey last night.
Yeah. Well, we were talking to DBK, and they get paid a pittance to play for Holland. That's probably,
and there's possibly, more benefit and more experience day on day.
Yes, there is, but you'd think for proper international games that are counting towards something, as that's played in the offside and there's no run, you try and make it across if you really want to play international cricket, because they all like going to the big tournaments, don't they?
I think the issue is that the ICC cut funding to the associates as part of the big 3 power grab.
Wow, yeah, and we can go on about that forever, can't we? If you want cricket to survive.
Well, we do.
It's another googly to end the over. Attempted cut by Pringle, but it comes back into him. Cramps him for room. He can only hit it out to cover where there is a fielder, and there's no run. And that ends the over. Adil Rashid 4 off his final over.
And Naked Farm Pornbot wonders if there is a word for eating up balls. Maybe Josh knows. Mog says, what the hell do you mean, what kind of linguistics? I actually don't think that's what Bear said. I think he said not that kind of linguistics, didn't you, Bear? I think Mog feels you might be disrespecting his degree.
Oh no, not at all, Mog.
Jeff Perkins says, if people never returned to known, somewhat disappointing Willies, the world would be a much sadder place. And Mog just says, grrr. And Jeff Perkins says, apparently you could have the cats do the vocals and they couldn't tell the difference. Every time somebody asks, i.e. me or you, who did that jingle, Mog and Jeff get triggered. Okay. I don't think the Jersey Jinglers got upset so far.
No, that one is guided down towards third man for a single off the first ball of the next over, which Willey is bowling. He's got 2 for 27 in his 7th over. Netherlands 221 for 6. Now, if England got Edwards out, I think this will slide quite badly. You kind of need him to stay there till the end, really. Pringle facing up, can only defend that back to the bowler, and there's no run.
Even so, you can't see them getting much more than 255, 260. And I don't know where that puts the GPL today.
Oh, now that's a good point, actually. Let's have a look.
So I can tell you, all I want is for them to get 251, 256 or 261, and that'll give me a real chance.
251, what that be? 503, yeah.
503.
Okay. So we shall see. Willey in. That's hit by Pringle. Guides it down to third man. They'll get one. They don't think about coming up for two. Edwards probably wants to strike anyway. Yeah, I think my 273.5 is pretty safe. It's not like some crazy biffer's going to come in and slap it into the stands and ruin it for me now, is it?
Not unless they lose a wicket and someone goes absolutely Burko. But even that doesn't look
unlikely.
likely. As a matter of fact, did anyone see the Surrey Somerset game last night on TV?
No.
That was absolutely mad last over.
Really? What happened? Tell me about it. Willey in. Pulled by Edwards. Out to deep mid wicket. They'll get one. They'll think about two, but it's not there.
It's first v second in the South Group. Surrey were chasing 145 to win. Making decent progress, but being pegged back by wickets at various points. It came to the last over with Jordan and Will Jacks at the crease. Will Jacks not on strike. Jordan out first ball. Single.
How many were required off this last over? Willey comes in and it's driven. Half stopped by mid-on, and Adil Rashid would chase it down. They'll probably get back for three here. Well, they'll certainly try for three. They get back for three quite comfortably in the end.
How many required? 9.
9, okay. Jordan's out of the first ball.
Yeah.
9 required off 5 balls.
Nico Reefer 4, then out with a searing Yorker from Siddle.
So 5 required off 3.
Sorry, there's the Dot wicket, then Dot, then 4 wicket, then so two consecutive wickets off 2 consecutive Yorkers from Siddle. So the last ball is 4 required with Jacks not on strike, fuming at the other end.
I can imagine. As Willey comes in and just drops that in the leg side. There's a throw at the stumps. Oh shit, that would have been out if he'd have hit the stumps. That's really good bit of fielding by Willey off his own bowling. Went across the stumps, fielded it, slid over and turned at the same time, threw it at the stumps. Didn't have time to sight it and missed them, but
well, he hit it, bounced it over the top of the stumps, I think. No.
Well, I mean, the batsman just hit it and run.
Oh no.
No, he hasn't bounced it over the stumps. Because Edwards would have run himself out, and he's a set batsman. He was out by 4 yards, that hit.
Anyway, to finish my story, Conor McCurr, first game of the season, comes in, 1 ball to be a hero, smacks it past extra cover for 4 to win the match by 1 run.
Crazy. Was that at the Oval?
Yep. With about 3,000 people there because of the strikes, which is a real shame.
Yeah. Well, I support the industrial action. I don't use tubes that much, I have to say, but I'd still support it if I was. I got my wife working at home at the moment, which is kind of weird. I'm not used to being at home during the day.
You mean your wife is working at home?
Yes.
It didn't sound great when you say you got your wife working
yeah, well,
at home.
Okay, yeah, she's working at home for her job.
Yeah.
I put her on a mill, Missy. Made sure this isn't chores for her.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Armchair Cricket Podcast says solid contributions from the top order have given Netherlands a platform, but they've lost the clutch of wickets at the wrong time. The onus is now on skipper Edwards to take them to 260 plus.
Well, indeed. Next ball, Edwards can only defend back to the bowler, though. And there is no run. As Payne starts his 8th over, he'll probably go through to the end now, won't he?
I would have thought so.
He's bowled well. Number 26 should have had a wicket. Livingstone, of course, failed to catch one of the openers as it went up in the sun, and he just lost it completely. That's pulled hard by Edwards down towards deep mid wicket. He should get back for 2. Not enough to get it through between the fielders for 4. Good bit of fielding by Phil Salt down there. Phil Salt's impressed, but then it's the Netherlands. I mean, what do you say? I mean, I don't want to make that sound discouraging, but although he did all right against the West Indies last year, didn't he? Was it T20s or ODIs? T20s.
Yep, he got a 50 one of the 3 games.
Yeah,
I think.
in double quick time as well, wasn't it? When we were completely stuffed. That's short and over Edwards. That will be a wide.
All I can say on the Phil Salt issue is that you can only play against what's put in front of you.
If
that's what he's been able to play
against. This is true. I mean, I would like to see him. Oh, that's sconned him, I think. Tried to pull it, and then it's bamboozled Buttler as it spun off the ground as he tried to field it, and they probably got back for 2 byes, didn't they?
I thought that was on the chest.
Wide? That's not wide. No, that was the previous ball.
I thought that was on the chest, perhaps rolling up into the grill off the chest.
It's gone for 2. How come that's for the batsman? It's come off the arm and then onto his helmet, and then it's hit the ground, spun past Buttler as he went to field it. And they got back for 2. Again pulled by Edwards, completely missed time this time. They should only get 1. And it goes out for Phil Salt once more.
There's definite tactic here of Payne bowling into the deck.
Yeah.
On or around leg stump to try and tramp the batsman and make it hard to time the ball.
Yeah. Well, he's not. Yeah, exactly. A lot of slower balls this over. 74, 71, 75. That last ball was 83. So, yeah, as you say, he's capable of a quick bowler. Does he have an injury history? Have we got to worry about him?
He's a fast bowler. Every fast bowler's got injury worries.
He's about to break down next week then. That again is a slower ball. Oh, now that's going to be a run out. Edwards has been run out. No, it's Pringle's been run out, sorry. He just dropped it into the offside. Edwards wanted the strike. Don't know why, actually, because there's only 1 ball left in the over after that, I think. No, maybe, yeah, it was. So, considering where they're at, Edwards would want to be on strike, and it was a risky single. He just dropped it into the offside, Pringle. Edwards immediately set off. Pringle started, then stopped. Didn't really want the single, I don't think. Wisely, Payne picked up the ball, and I think Adil Rashid was covering the stumps, wasn't he? And rather than shy at the stumps, he realised there was more than enough time to just lob it up. No, it wasn't Adil Rashid. That was Payne at the stump, sorry. It wasn't the bowler who fielded off his own bowling, it was cover who came in. Got that all wrong. But the result was, it was a run out. So I'll give it a jingle. Well, at least I corrected myself, eh?
Yeah. He called me for a single and my stump shattered. Do don't run, 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 do don't run, run.
Yeah. And I guess Scott Edwards will get the last ball of the over. Don't know really what that did for the Netherlands, but hey. So who's in next? Do we reckon that
Klaassen or Van Meekeren?
No, I've got to find them. So considering I can't find either of them. That's weird. Maybe because I didn't think they weren't in the original squad?
I think they weren't in the original squad because they were expected to play for the counties.
Okay. Well, I can get rid of some of these players. Ahmed Musa's not playing today, is he? Or Clayton Floyd?
I don't believe so. Oh, it's Aryan Dutt.
Ah, it's Aryan Dutt's going to come in. So I don't have to
I've
do
missed
that
a
anyway.
player.
Ah, you did. And he has got a jingle. Goes like this.
Coming from the depths of Amsterdam, it's Aryan Dutt. It's Aryan Dutt.
He gets off the mark. First ball by just dabbing it down to long leg and gets himself a single. Yeah, it was a slower ball, and oh man,
Dutt wasn't on strike. He's not on strike either because the last ball of the over. That was
that was a run out. Yeah, that was Edwards who got a single. So sorry, it'll be him retaining strike.
So on YouTube, Dan De Castro is very down on this game existing at all. Basically saying it's like a match between Chelsea and Torquay.
Yeah. Occasionally Torquay will win.
Yeah, that's right. So there should be more tours of associate nations with each other. Well, I mean, they actually do play a lot of games against each other.
They do, and the thing is, they do
need a game like this from time to time just to give them a different standard.
Well, exactly. I mean, you don't improve unless you play better sides. That's the problem. That is Hoyt out to deep mid wicket by Edwards. First ball. First ball of Willey's 8th over. It'll be a single. Sam Curran out and over the deep.
To all of which Stephen Kelk just says sigh.
Yeah. I mean, it isn't the most exciting cricket, is it? But, you know.
It got a little bit exciting on Sunday when England suddenly showed that they might even collapse, which was fun.
Which England are always capable of.
Yeah.
Willey into Dutt, who has a big swish at that one and misses it. Goes through the Buttler and there's no run.
Yeah, he stayed a bit too much leg side of that one. Didn't quite get his foot across to the line before having to try to power it through the offside.
How do you spell Fred Klaassen? I'm sure we got a jingle for him. Is it Fred?
It's Fred, yeah.
Klassen, I think.
No, it's double A.
It's double A, double S.
There you go. You've got to spell it right, otherwise the bloody thing doesn't pick it up. That is a slower ball by Willey, goes across. Well, it wasn't actually that slow ball, it just kept low and bounced before it got to Buttler. Went awkwardly and hit him and bounced off him. They'll get through for a bye. And who's the other person who's playing that wasn't in the original squad?
Paul van Meekeren. Meekeren.
Sorry, Meek.
K.
Yeah. If I do that, that'll probably pick him up. There you go. So now we have the 2 new players. I knew we had jingles for them. Willey is going to come in, 4th ball of the 48th over. So they've really subsided. They were on for about 270, 280 at one point, and they're now 236 for 7. So that was just blocked square on the offside behind square. So a backward point, and there'll be no run. And they're now 236 for 7. Like 5 overs later, they've really subsided here.
The flurry of wickets has stopped any chance of any real acceleration.
Exactly. And this is it. I mean, better sides have better tail enders. You can still give it some humpty, don't they? But you kind of get the feeling after 5 they might score some runs, but they're never going to go on along at a lick. Willey is into Edwards, who just knocks it out on the leg side. Willey has to field off his own bowling. They'll think about 2, but he gets there quick enough and throws it into Buttler, and there's only 1 run.
Never 2 there on the pitch this size.
No, exactly.
With modern athletic fielders.
Yeah.
And if you had your mid-wicket, there'd be none at all.
Well, tell me about it. Absence of mid-wickets, I don't know.
But it is the modern age. The modern age is to bring people up on the offside, push everybody back on the leg side.
Well, everyone plays so much bottom hand, don't they? But I mean, natural angles facilitate a mid-wicket, stopping quite a fair few runs. Dutt has a big swing. Willey gets a 3rd wicket as he misses it, and it bowls in middle stump. The bails go flying, and Aryan Dutt is out for none, having faced 3 balls, and we have to say goodbye to him. Just missed it trying to work it into leg side, didn't it? There was nothing. There might have been a slight bit of swing, but I don't think there really was, and it just hit the outside of his back pad and cannoned into the stumps.
Yeah, he's tried to hit that through mid-wicket when he really should have hit it straight back over the bowler's head.
Well, he's not in there to bat.
That's true. Seeing as we've got a break there and we're up to date on socials, I thought I'd just mention that because I'm a patron, last night I received a link to the latest weekly podcast, which is called The Bishop and the Bear, or The Bear and the Bishop.
It's The Bear and the fucking Bishop, man.
The Bear and the fucking Bishop, there you go. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, probably the highlight was Bear excoriating Owen Morgan for his performance, but it was great fun for about 40 minutes or whatever it was, with not just the Bear and the Bishop, but also with what's his
Bennett.
Who Bennett? That's right.
Well, I guess
former coach of Hong Kong, and it was a great discussion. And just getting that each week is a real pleasure. So, if you're enjoying what we give you, you get even more of it if you're a patron.
It's true, and you only get it if you're a patron. Plus, you get to join Discord group and have a chat with your other. Oh, no, it's been scone. Payne's bowled that short, and Edwards has got to pull it. He's nowhere near pulling it. It's banged off his helmet down towards 3rd man. He'll get a single. They're going to have a fucking
new helmet, please.
New helmet concussion job here. Should do. I don't know if they will do.
This is Europe, which has probably had no
health and safety crazy. That's why we had Brexit, though.
Yes, British standards. No, they're only guaranteed for 1 hit.
Yes,
basically. So they should have bring another one out and spend 5 minutes fitting it to him.
Yeah.
But will they?
I don't know.
I mean, it wasn't a flush blow; it was a glancing blow.
Yeah. Still should do it.
It was only 133 k's, so it wasn't really.
They haven't. Payne is in again. That's down leg side. Now, haven't given us a wide. Terrible shot by Fred Klaassen. And it has been given us wide. Having got his jingle dug it out, I should actually play it, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I beseech thee, Lords of Cricket, that I, your humble servant, Fred Klaassen, gain protection from those who can clear the boundary.
Okay. Payne, full, driven at, gets an edge, goes down towards 3rd man. Sam Curran's down there, it'll just be the 1 run. Big unit, Klaassen, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a strapping left-arm pace bowler.
Quick. Who's he play for?
Kent.
Okay.
Quick enough, I think.
Well,
certainly for my standard.
Yeah. Well, same here probably. Edwards is going to face up though. He's 64. He's driven that down the long on. Is there a man down? He's out. Yes, he hasn't got hold of that. Jason Roy. In fact, Jason Roy's just probably on the edge of the circle when it was hit.
Long on.
It wasn't long on. He was just long on the 30-yard circle. Well, mid on the 30-yard circle. Edwards has not got hold of that. Toe ended it. And Jason Roy gets a wicket. And Payne finally gets his first England ODI wicket. Should have had one earlier, but Livingstone couldn't see it coming out of the sun. And we have to say goodbye to Edwards, and probably the last chance of them getting any quick runs in these last few balls. Well, let's give him a jingle.
How's that? You messed about, I caught you out. How's that?
That was right off the toe of the bat. There's no weight in it at all. No spring, no nothing. I'm not surprised it only went about 25 yards.
Yeah, exactly. Good innings by Scott Edwards, 64 off 72. Probably the pick once again. You say he's captaining today?
He was captain on Wednesday.
Klaassen's usually captain though, isn't he? Is it right?
I don't think so. I think it's Peter Saylor was
Peter Saylor
was normal captain.
Scott Edwards is captain
today, yeah. Is Saylor injured? Did he play? I don't know. He played on Sunday.
He's managing an injury. He played in the first one, but not in the second.
Yeah. Okay. So Payne with a wicket, 1 for 35. This is his 9th over, and it's full. And Klaassen plays that up too long on. It will just be the 1 run to Jason Roy.
And they'll bring this man onto strike.
Oh yeah, this man. He has a jingle I've dragged out too, so I better play it.
Meekeren shall inherit the earth.
Why have we got Dutch plain song?
Don't know. Why are you asking me now? I cannot get inside in the minds of our jinglers. That is driven square by Van Meekeren, and they get back for 2. How's that 2? It should have only been 1.
I think he's picked out one of the less mobile fielders like Moeen or Adil Rashid.
Still, it went straight to him. That's weird. Anyway, Van Meekeren facing up again. Last ball of Payne's over is driven. Long levers from Van Meekeren. And but you can only hit that one to cover. There's no run at the end of that over. 243 for 9, 1 over to go. Messi.
A couple of tweeters have pointed out that Saylor retired after that first match.
Oh, that's
with
right.
a back injury. Mog says, guess who'd been reading ancient Egyptian protection invocations when doing the Klaassen jingle?
Yes.
Makes sense. And the Naked Fun porn bot says, you really need a proper fitting helmet. Oh, gosh.
Yes, well, indeed. So, right, 486 would be... So, 498, they would have to get what?
12 runs.
Yeah, but you need to double that. So if England get
249.
Yeah, so if Netherlands get 249.
Well, somebody's got 247 in the GPL, so if they're out now, they're in with a good chance. 587 in the GPL. 487.
487. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got to refresh it then. That's played out into the offside to extra cover. They run through for the single. Yeah. So what are we looking at? 487 would be a good one. Yeah.
That's just gone.
That's just gone. Next one is 498, which would require
5 runs.
Yeah. To be realistic. Or somewhere where England could get within reach, where England could get a 4 or 6 off the last ball of the over and get it there, which is quite likely actually. Willey is in. Well, maybe not. Van Meekeren has a big swish at that, and actually that is the end of the innings because he was the last wicket, and the Netherlands are all out for 244. So it looks like GPL won't be one. And well, you know what? England could fall 1 run short.
Yeah,
could be a thriller. And England don't make it for 1 run short required off the last ball, and 4-8-7 could be the final score. But in the meantime, we have to say goodbye to the batsmen.
Now you're gone. Oh.
We could have a go at giving you the scorecard, possibly. Quickly go through it. Vikram Singh caught Malan, bowled Willey for 6. Max O'Dowd caught Buttler, bowled Livingstone for 50. Tom Cooper, who should have been out before getting a run, was eventually caught Livingstone, who was the man who didn't see the ball, off Payne in about the third over. He got 33 or 37. Caught Livingstone, bowled Carse. Leede caught Rashid, bowled Carse for 56. Scott Edwards, all the guys you'd expect to get the runs. This is it. See, top five. Only Vikram Singh didn't get runs, and he can get runs. Scott Edwards 64, 72. See, that's not bad, and then it all falls apart. Teja, he just caught Roy, bowled Payne. Teja Nidamanuru stumped Buttler, bowled Rashid for 4 off 9. Logan van Beek caught Rashid, bowled Willey for 0 off 3. Tim Pringle run himself out for 6 off 8. Aryan Dutt bowled Willey for none off 3. Fred Klaassen not out, 3 off 3. And Paul van Meekeren bowled Willey for 2 off 3 with a total of 244 to bowling. David Willey 8.2 overs, 4 for 36. Well, there you go. That's your answer. You can only bowl what's in front of you, same as batting. David Payne 9 overs, 1 maiden. Thought he looked good, 1 for 38. Should have had more. Sam Curran 6 overs, none for 35. Looked pretty average today. Brydon Carse, like him, 8 overs, 2 for 49. Liam Livingstone 8 overs, 1 for 40, and Adil Rashid 10 overs, 1 for 41. Picking the bowlers, David Willey, really. Got any last tweets?
Couple on YouTube. Stephen Kelk says on Sunday Pringle became a crowd favourite when he agreed to sign a tube of Pringles.
Good man.
And Saturday player says England bowlers look very ordinary. Good job they bat deep. Morgan may be a good captain, but is he worth his place when there are so many other better players?
No,
I agree
would be the answer to that, and I'll argue that strongly.
And that's about it on socials.
Okie dokie. Any last thoughts, Jace?
Ali didn't bowl. And
no.
The reason he didn't bowl, I think, is because there aren't any left-handers in the...
yes, that was my thoughts.
In the Netherlands side.
Still think he'd have been good enough to bowl though. But yeah, Liam and Livingstone, obviously both him and Rashid can turn it away from all the right-handers, so they probably went that way, didn't they? Right, we're going to go to lunch. I'm going to pick a video for everyone to watch. Ooh, that's gone weird. Let's see what we got here.
What is it, about 30-minute lunch, is it?
I think so.
I think it's 30 or 40, depends how quickly England bowled.
They're spot on for time, I think. So I think 30 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to go back into the archives, and Indo's. I'm going to play an interview. We actually do have an archive of stuff we've done. Probably a lot of it's out of date, but Laljam Rajput talking to an Indo about Zimbabwe and Afghanistan and being the man who discovered Tendulkar, I think, or something like that. Or certainly coached him. Or is it Kohli? I can't remember. You'll have to listen to the interview to find out. But we'll be back in whenever lunch finishes, and we'll be back as soon as that's done. See you shortly. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Chairman Mao, Jamie Howe, Ho Chi Minh, Asif Din, Václav Havel, Graham Saville, No Surrender, Percy Fender, Guerrilla Cricket.
Welcome to Guerrilla Cricket, and with me today we have someone very special. He played Test cricket for India. He opened for India, had a highest score of 61, but was unfortunate not to get a chance after playing 2 Test matches. At one point in time, it was spoken of in Indian cricket circles that he was the best opener to have come out of Bombay after Sunil Gavaskar, which is saying a lot. But fortunately for world cricket, Laljam Rajput has had a fantastic second career as a coach. Multiple times coach of various Indian teams, the under-19 teams, India A teams. very, very memorably, he was head coach of the cricket coach / head coach of the 2007 World T20 winning Indian side, which was MS Dhoni's first series and in fact first match as captain of India. He was head coach of Afghanistan, and at a time when Afghanistan was given ICC membership, thanks to a lot to his efforts. He was head coach of the Mumbai Indians for a while, and finally for the last 2.5 years he's been head coach of Zimbabwe. And through COVID, through difficult times, he's brought Zimbabwe up so that last week we saw a fantastic victory in the UAE from Zimbabwe against his old side, Afghanistan. So welcome to the show, Lalchand Rajput.
My pleasure.
It's great having you. I mean, congratulations on the decisive win last week. It must be tremendously satisfying given that everything that's happened with Zimbabwe cricket in the past 3 years or so with COVID that's been going on. And under you, within that time, with the stops and gaps, Zimbabwe's played, 6 test matches, and you won 2 of them. And what I think is remarkable, before I leave the field to you here, is not the fact that you've won 2 out of 6, but the fact that I think a lot of people don't realize that in the past 30 years, Zimbabwe has only won 3 test matches abroad. And you have won 2 of them in the past 2.5 years. I'm not sure you knew that.
Yeah, I never knew that, to be very honest.
The only victory that Zimbabwe had abroad was against Pakistan in 1998. And that was against a fantastic Pakistan team, but then it was a fantastic Zimbabwe team. So you had a bowling attack which was Heath Streak, Pomia Mangwa, and Henry Olonga. So, that's a bowling attack you can't complain about. I think together with Neil Johnson, they took 19 wickets out of 20. And they beat a team of Wasim Akram, Bakar Yunus, Inzamam, Saeed, Anwar, everybody. But that was 1998. I mean, you're talking about, 23 years ago. And your 2 victories in the past 2 years are the first 2 victories abroad. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, you gave me a good insight because this is the only 3rd time we have won outside Zimbabwe. That's a credit I think goes to the players as well. To be very honest, when I joined, I think I can proudly say that it was because of your article which came in the press that, Zimbabwe should look at a coach like me. And they really obliged that, and I think I was given a 3-year contract. But there were lots of ups and downs, and Zimbabwe cricket was suffering from because they had problems with ICC. The players were having problems with the ZC board. So there were a lot of tough times which I had to go through. But as you know, I don't step back. I said once I have taken up a challenge, I will try and make sure that we try to get those things all together.